Hello, everybody listening to the Fairweather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I'm joined with the happiest Jet fan I've ever met in my life. I don't even know who this guy is, Mr. Alex Rodriguez. Once again, I have no idea who this guy is.
Me either.
This is the definition of fair weather. Because I swear, like 3 months ago, before Quentin Williams got signed,
Oh, no.
I was still like, I don't care. I don't care.
No, I've always been a fan. You know that. I support them.
No. Fair weather fan doesn't mean you're not a fan. It's just that the temperature is a little high right now. You're under extreme heat advisory right now.
You said I was on cloud 12. Well, I'm on cloud 13 now, bro. Like it's all been about direction. Like let's be honest. As fans of our teams, there has to be personnel in there that are talking about money and talking about contracts, and this won't work. We can't keep this guy. We got to let him go. But when you're a prestigious organization, like, let's be honest, Philadelphia, all the sports market teams, they got money. They're good. They should be.
They don't know how to freaking spend it, except for the Phillies.
New York, we've always been like the blue collar team, like behind Big Brother, the New York Giants. Okay, like nobody. When you see a Jets fan, like you should embrace them and be
listen, I love Jet fans.
I do too.
I love Jet. You know how I am. I love underdogs, right? But at the end of the day, I'm always going to pay attention to those. Not you, obviously, but the ones that come out of the fucking closet because Aaron Rodgers is there now. Yeah. Those are the ones I'm like, all right, man, where the fuck were you at? Where were you at 2 years ago?
We're taking Packers fans with us. There's Packers fans.
I will say, Jet fans are a lot more loyal than other fan bases. Because it's like being a Lions fan. If you're a Lions fan, you got to be the most loyal person. Like, you never cheated on your girl. You never cheated on a test. You never took more candy. You don't go over the speed limit. Like, if you're a Lions fan after all these years, hey, more power to you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even do it.
And for me, it's just real quick. For me, it's just like the things that I've been preaching. As opposed to, like, how in the offseason teams make a big signing, but have
Y'all
nothing.
Made a big signing.
No, I'm just saying, like, teams in the off seasons that are like historically dog shit, okay? That are historically dog shit will make one big signing. It's like, oh, we went and got this guy, and there's nothing to make a team around it. It's just like the one sign, like going to get Le'Veon Bell for us. That was going to do it for us? No, It wasn't it. And I was happy.
After a year off.
I was happy we got him, but I was like,
we became a rapper.
But I'm not a rapper. Yeah. So whatever, man. But yeah, I'm on my high horse, and I want to come down, but I'm just
listen.
I'm cruising.
I don't blame you, bro. Like, listen, y'all on TV every day. Hard Knocks, the episode looked crazy. Yo, I was watching that game on Saturday, the Jets versus the Carolina. I was like, yo, that next episode of Hard Knocks is about to be obnoxious. They're about to be super obnoxious because
I love them.
They beat the dog shit out of Carolina. I mean, they beat the dog shit out of Carolina. Then the first 10 minutes of Hard Knocks last night, I was like, oh, I see why.
Oh my god,
I see why. Them motherfuckers were ready to fight. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on. What was in the water, but they was pissed at each other. So unfortunately, my dog Bryce Young and his squad had to take the brunt of that anger. They took out all of that shit on them. So more power to y'all, man. More power to y'all. But before I give my craziest or wackiest or whatever thing of over the last week, I do have an announcement to make. If you're watching this broadcast or the telecast on YouTube, behind me, you'll see the infamous picture, meme, whatever people call it, of my next chapter with Kevin Durant, with him folding his arms when he, wrote in the Players Tribune that he was going to X, Y, and Z team, right? I'm currently, I just want to sit here because we're going to talk about some NBA later, but I am a free agent. The Philadelphia 76ers, you know how, like, people get on Dolan, like the Knicks suck since they haven't won since 1973? We ain't done shit any better. We've actually tried and we suck. At least Dolan don't give. He don't matter. He just didn't care. That's why y'all suck. We actually are trying and we still make it worse. So after all these years, I only became a Sixers fan because of Allen Iverson. And the day they traded Allen Iverson, I was like, whatever, I'll be fine. I still rocked with Philly. I still followed him wherever he went, like I do with LeBron. But Tyrese Maxey is the only player on that team right now that I give any kind of shit about anymore. Like, I'm done with it. And B has always been hot and cold for me. And then the latest antics about Harden, and then just the whole trust the process shit and the management. I am so fed up with everything that 76 organization is doing. So I'm entering free agency, and I'm going to put them on the back burner. So whatever they do. I'm not giving up my fandom, but I would like to take this opportunity to let people know that I am open to cheering for another team this year, East or West. I don't care anymore. Obviously I'm gonna cheer for LeBron wherever he goes, but I am open to actually going out of my way to cheer for maybe the Knicks, maybe the Heat, maybe the Celtics. I don't give a damn. I'm that mad. So I just want to make sure I put that out there because we're going to talk about James Harden later. So I'm putting that out there. Now, the craziest, wackiest thing I've seen in the last week is the best thing I've seen. My GOAT. Who's your soccer GOAT? Ronaldo?
No.
Pele's Pele. Pele, huh?
I'm more of a Ronaldo fan.
Okay? I got you. But you be talking crazy shit about my dog Messi sometimes. Because I know how you Ronaldo fans are. Y'all are ride or die. Y'all are like Kobe fans. y'all are like Kobe fans. Y'all are ride or die.
To talk about his 9 goals, bro. He's playing with his food.
Lionel Messi at the age of 38? My dog can't he literally. Can you imagine if LeBron James went over to Greece and played for the Olympiacos? He would kill everybody. If he went to La Liga in Spain, he would kill everybody, right? Maybe not even as much as the way Messi is killing these hoes down here in the MLS. It's laughable at this point. It's actually laughable. Like he's playing with his food. He's playing with his food. It's like every game you watch, you just expecting him. It's not about if he scores, how he's gonna do it. It's so exciting for me to see my GOAT in the United States, while all the rest of y'all gotta watch y'all dog over in Saudi freaking Arabia playing against Dubai and.
Here's all I gotta say. Here's all I gotta say about that, bro. Like, trust me, as much as you think I'd hate Messi, it's like picking Kevin Durant or LeBron James. They're gonna lean more to LeBron James, just like I am. I respect both players. Like Messi he's achieved what nobody can achieve. There's only a handful of guys that can do that. And 2 that you can say are the GOATs, which are him and Pele. Pele won multiple World Cups.
2 small guys.
One. So, but Pele never really played against any big competition. He just stayed in Brazil and played for the clubs over there. But bro, I'm a soccer aficionado, man. Like I'm no Sammy, I'm no Ron Angelo. Those guys, I'll give you your credits. They know their shit.
They do.
But Messi coming over here, it's unfair. No matter how old that guy is, it just shows how bad American soccer is.
Oh, we've been talking about this. Like, are we getting close to catching up? Oh, not even close.
No, and what I was going to allude to is you're saying, oh, you got to watch those guys in Saudi Arabia. Be on the lookout. They just got Neymar. They're getting big name players.
Man, that's a 1-year freaking loan. Come on now.
It doesn't.
Neymar is there for a year. He's gonna move on to.
I know he's gonna go to Premier League. We know he's gonna go to Premier League. But they're getting big name players to go over there.
Yeah, because they're paying astronomical amount of money.
They're paying, but that's all you got to do is pay them, and they'll come, and then one will come, and some will see.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I actually am one of those nerds who watch golf. Right, I do. Still will not watch. I don't watch the Live Tour. It's shit for me to watch. I'm watching PGA. Whenever there's a Masters on, I'm watching. Whenever there's a big tournament, I'm watching. I have not yet seen one swing of the Live Tour. Just because they paying them all this money don't mean I want to watch it. Cool. I have not watched Ronaldo put on a uniform in Saudi Arabia yet. I have no idea what the uniform looks like. But I know the MLS on Apple TV. I can turn on my shit. Boom, it's right there. I can see it on
ESPN. Why you're watching it. I'm gonna tell you why. What's your phone carrier service?
T-Mobile, baby.
Exactly.
Freaking Mobile, baby.
And it's free.
No, I will say, shout out to T-Mobile. I'm not trying to give no product placement, but MLB, I get MLB for free every year for the last 8 years now, and I got soccer. And it's
and you get 10 cents off the gallon on the Shell app too.
And
So
10 cents off the gallon. And nowadays, gas is going right back up again. So them 10 cents be going a long way. So I'll get T-Mobile is credit. But what's the craziest, wackiest, funniest, whatever you see over the last week? It can't be jet related.
Yeah. Oh, it was going to be jet related.
I knew it. Now you have to say two then.
Well, I had three. I had three.
Okay.
One we're going to allude it to the end of the show. We're going to talk about it, so I don't want to talk about that. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows what it is.
Is it about Michael Oher?
Yeah, it was about Michael Oher. That was because real quick on it. I don't want to stay on it here, but like we've talked about it. We're like, yo, the movie was like whatever. Like it was.
I got so much to say. Dude, don't even talk about it. I cannot wait.
That's just crazy. How
if you guys are listening to the show, I know sometimes you want to hear what you want to hear. Y'all need to make sure y'all sit through this whole shit, because when we get to Michael Oher, I got some shit to say about that, because I've been saying this. I've been thinking the same thing for 14 years now. I'm like, wow. Anyway, continue.
The chickens came home to roost.
It came, bro. They did.
The one I was gonna say was, I'm not gonna ruin. Actually, no, fuck it. I'm gonna ruin. If you didn't watch Hard Knocks yet, the newest episode,
if they haven't watched Hard Knocks, that's on them, bro.
The beginning episode, they bring in like a magician, and bro, guy,
no.
Point. And at the end, what's crazy at the end, when he put the Super Bowl score up and the winner between the two teams, which were the Jets and the 49ers. And they had it at 31-21, and I think it was Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman picked the winners, and he picked the score, and the guy had that written down. Bets were placed. They
did? Dog, they're so lame, bro. They're so lame. This is why Vegas got so much money.
Bets were placed right there and then. And then the last one, I'll be really quick, is just like the progression of Aaron Rodgers, as how we've seen him as a villain, of like as a crybaby bitch. Like he's back, baby. He's fun.
The bad man is back.
He's super cool. He's talking, and like I have no reason. I mean, I know he's on my team, and I'm also like one of those people that, like, if we signed Tom Brady and it was like the Tom Brady of the Patriots, I'd be like, God, I don't like this guy, but I got to root for him. And I've never been like that with Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a couple years
lately.
And I've tried to dive deeper and been like, maybe it's ownership and not having an owner really and shit like that, like, plays into it. And now you're seeing him here, and like these kids are young. And they're like a false, what was it that Bane said? Praying like a false idol. So like they're praying this guy like a false idol, and he's not a false idol. He's fucking won a lot of shit. He's very decorated. I know he won Super Bowl, but he's
MVPs.
But he's still hella decorated.
He's like a better version of what Dan Marino was doing.
He's hella decorated, and that's something we've never had at the quarterback position. We've never had somebody at the helm like this, and I'm happy to see it. And I'm happy that, like, Hard Knocks, which I alluded to last week, hasn't really honed in on players yet to make the team, or certain players. Yeah, we got some Quentin Williams sighting in the last one, but it's really been all around Aaron Rodgers on this team. How they interact with each other.
McDonald, he explosive.
Oh my God.
He's explosive. Bro.
I didn't know your game was like that.
Dog, I'm on some Shaq shit. When I was watching that shit last night, I was like, bro, I did not know your game was like this.
But what's crazy is, like, I watched that game obviously before that.
Yeah.
And I was paying attention. I was like, let me pay attention to Mekhi Becton, and let me pay attention.
I was paying attention to Mekhi Becton. He was in the field on the third quarter, right? Like he was like
he started.
But he played up until the third quarter, I think. I'm like, bro, why is Mekhi Becton still in the game?
Because they need to make sure if they're going to keep him next year. Because
shout out to him. Like he's smart for that.
And I love what Aaron Rodgers said to him in the show. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He came up to Aaron, put his arm. He's like, "Let's go grab a dinner, man. Let's hang out." I was like,
and that's when I knew. Remember, Tom Brady came to Tampa and all to nowhere became a cool guy again. Like, what the hell? Where was this Tom before? Sometimes a change of scenery is literally the greatest thing to ever happen to you. Like, at my last job, I think that last year and a half, I was kind of just really disengaged, and it just wasn't. I wasn't having fun anymore. I was like, why am I doing this? And then, the way the universe works, if my current job somehow found me, and I've been on a tear and I've been happy. I've been finally happy again. Even though there's still a lot of stress, I'm finally happy again. And it's like it literally sometimes is just a change of scenery and being somewhere that you're actually wanting. Because like think about it. When Tom Brady left New England, you could tell like they were done with him. The greatest quarterback, ring wise and all that, accomplishment wise of all time, and they were like ready to be done with him. Same thing with Green Bay. Like they've been waiting to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Like, all right, man, we got Jordan Love, and we're trying to see what's up. And they've been like trying to push him out the door. So to go somewhere that you're actually wanted, it makes the world of difference. And I felt like I was wanted in my current job right now, and that's what it's making me want to perform better. You know what I mean? It's just little things. Like you guys really do have a shot because he's happy.
Yeah, exactly. And what I was going to allude to about Will McDonald is I was watching that game, and when I saw him explode off the end and get to Bryce Young, I was like, oh, like I said, I didn't know you were like this, because our front four, not even putting Will McDonald in there, is pretty scary.
Oh yeah. Y'all stop y'all shit. Yo, Quentin Williams.
But I didn't know we got Al Woods, and I didn't know we got Quentin Jefferson too. I was like, holy shit.
Quentin Williams, you know how like what's his name? Aaron Donald, right? You got to pay extra attention to Aaron Donald. So everybody else about to get loose, right? Quentin Williams, dog, he looks like he got, you know how people get their money and they regress? He got his money. He's like, nah, I'm about to show y'all why.
Yeah, exactly. And I like hearing that. I like hearing that hard knocks. Let's see when it happens.
I hate so much that I love so many of y'all players and shit. I'm like, damn. I don't want y'all to win a Super Bowl. I want to win the Super Bowl, but it might be an all-green Super Bowl, to be honest.
Let me get mine before I die.
It might be an all-green Super Bowl, and I hope Jalen Hurts whooped his ass. We're gonna see y'all week, whatever. But I hope we get an all-green Super Bowl so Jalen Hurts gets his get back. And then Patriots week 1, Juju Smith-Schuster. I hope we whoop his ass. Okay, I'm done. Back to reality. All right,
let's dive in.
We're gonna talk about we're gonna do the NFC North and AFC North today. So we're gonna kick it off with the NFC North. A lot of shit going on in that little cold division that they got over there. Lamar Jackson finally got his money, so we don't gotta talk about that bullshit no more. Of like, and I say NFC North, we're doing AFC North. So Lamar Jackson got his money, so we don't gotta worry about that. They got OBJ, so now you got a weapon. They drafted Zay Flowers, and they got this new offensive coordinator. Everything that Lamar Jackson has needed, including the contract, he got now. So we about to see what's up with that. What else? My God. Deshaun Watson, year 2. Obviously, he didn't look that great last year. He hadn't played football in like 20 years, it felt like. So we got to see year 2 because if anybody watched that Johnny Manziel shit, Cleveland don't know how to draft quarterbacks, and Johnny Manziel knew within a week he didn't want to be there. That's how depressing Cleveland is. Like if y'all never been to Cleveland, ain't shit to be happy about over there. I've been there once. I lived in Detroit, and I thought Detroit was bad. Cleveland is not that far off. So that Midwest, what do they call it, winter depression or whatever. That should be real up there. So, and they play it in the freaking winter. So, we're gonna see about that. Joe Burrow got another injury. We're about to see what's up with him as they go into this next phase. And then also the Steelers, they still got Mike Tomlin. He don't lose. And Kenny Pickett and George Pickens, they look like they've been BFFs since like childbirth. So let's kick it off with the Ravens. First of all, obviously we spent a lot of the latter part of last season like, yo, what the hell's going on? Shit, is he gonna be a Falcon? Oh my God, the Bucks, the Patriots. Like we just kept throwing out all these crazy ideas because that's what they led us to believe, that they didn't want him. But we knew, hardball is hardball. Front office is gonna be the front office. It is a business at the end of the day. He got his 260 plus. So he got his millions. He's come to camp, and I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of a maturity for him. So with the new weapons, with the new coach, with the new money, with the new environment, what do you expect to see from the Baltimore Ravens?
I mean, it's your time to prove it now. Everything that we've always had an argument for Lamar Jackson
Mm-hmm.
is not an argument anymore. He has offensive pieces now to play with.
Yep.
Yes, it may not be like the top tier ones, and OBJ is, you know, an ACL injury removed from the Super Bowl and had to rehab that.
I mean, that one's been, thankfully for him, that was last year in February. So instead of rushing back like he was trying to do, he's actually had time to rehab. And I was watching like YouTube videos. He's got it. Like, we forget how good OBJ is. Like, he was that dude. He just can't, the knee was starting to be a little bit of an issue. But that same Super Bowl game, he was about to go win MVP.
Oh no, I know. But he's also a diva in an aspect. But I've forgiven him. I've forgiven him.
I know you have. I'm about to say, don't do that, Sil. That's my dog.
I've forgiven him. I've forgiven him. And I like the swagger and the identity he's bringing to the Ravens right now. I have no issues with OBJ. I have
a question. Do you think he would have fit your Jet locker room if they would have signed him?
I think so. Okay. I think so. The way things are going right now, I think he would have, because he's like a guy who wants to have fun. Yeah. And I feel like when he was in New York, he was the only one having fun, where everybody wanted to win football games, and he couldn't prioritize fun from winning and know what was the end goal at the end of the day.
That's that old school organization, New York Giants. Yeah. They got that old money and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the way the locker room is now, I think he would have gelled perfectly. It would have been kind of shaky, but I think like we've got the right pieces there.
So do the Ravens have the right pieces too?
And what I was going to allude to, like, people saying OBJ ain't him anymore. Like, yeah, he may not be him anymore, but he's still got the name and he still can make some catches, and he'll burn your DB on your team most likely. So I hate to break it to you.
You will.
So Zay Flowers, I've watched training camp videos of him, and he looks pretty good.
Advertised. As
much as we advocate for the running back market, the Ravens don't give a damn. They've got like 9 guys there, and it's next guy up, and he gets down, it's next guy up.
For fantasy purposes, would you draft J.K. Dobbins?
Until finally you get to Justice Hill, and you're like, throw him in there.
For fantasy purposes, would you draft J.K. Dobbins?
Never,
right? I can't do it. I've been doing all these mock drafts. I'm like, I can't do it. I'll take maybe Gus Edwards like in the 13th round, but I'm like, bro, that's the farthest I'm going to go. Yeah, like, I just don't know, bro. I just don't know.
Why would you take a guy whose initials are JK? Just kidding, bro. I'm not going to be playing this.
He gonna break your heart again.
But on defense, I know Humphrey just went out with an injury, so that's a little concerning.
Yeah. Top corner.
Did they have, who was the DB they had last year that I think he signed with the Raiders?
Marcus Peters.
Yeah, Marcus Peters isn't there anymore. So
I'm pulling up the roster. I got you.
Roquan Smith still there.
That's a good thing that they were able to like get that trade, because since Ray Lewis, you're trying to get that guy. You know what I mean? Roquan Smith is that guy. Honestly, like, he has that kind
Matt
of.
Judon is too. It was just weird.
Oh yeah, but Judon's gone now, so
yeah, I know.
Roquan could be your long-term option. He's still young, so
and he's paid now.
Whoever
the hell's on that D line, they're good. That's all I know. Is like they're good. But the team, don't even look at the roster. Don't even go down the roster.
Like, I'm looking at the roster anyway, because I'm very curious as to like what ancillary pieces and all that. Receiver wise, Lamar can't complain, bro. He got his 4th or 5th receiver would be Nelson Aguilar. Yeah, and that's not a bad 4th or 5th option to have. Like, he has Nelson Aguilar, Rashad Bateman, OBJ, Devin Duvernay, Zay Flowers, Laquan Treadwell. They got a. I laughed. I had to laugh. And they still have Mark Andrews, obviously, and Isaiah likely did a lot. Like showed a lot of promise.
He's hurt too.
Yeah, but the fact that they have all this now, it's like, yeah, what can you say?
It's young. It's very young, and it's kind of, to me, it's a question mark. but it's a working question mark. Like Dumerve, like that guy came out of nowhere and was getting like 1 yard touchdowns 3 weeks in a row for
He's
people who had
fast.
fantasy. Yeah, he's fast. He's a kick returner, but he can light you up on the offensive side if you put him in for a receiving play, if he has to be a receiver, which he is a receiver, but mostly a kick returner. The receiving core is very young, and I think it needed like a captain or a veteran mindset, and that's what you're going to get out of OBJ, because Bateman's never healthy. Zay
Yeah.
Flowers, this is his first
There's
year.
so much promise.
Dumerville's pretty young, or Duvernay, whatever his name is, and then Aguilar is just hot and cold. He's very hot and cold.
But at least he can be hot and cold and not be a 1 or 2.
True, that's true. And he's got a ring, so like you've got to respect him for that.
So you're welcome, Nelson. Thank you.
So
you're welcome. I think I'm not that sold about that defense, especially without Marlon Humphrey. They got some holes. Not holes. I wouldn't say they have holes, but they got a lot of. I mean,
I truly believe
away.
I truly believe, like when you look at that defense, I say the same thing too when I look at it.
And they perform.
Harbaugh gets those boys, and you find out names that you never heard of.
It's still Baltimore. At the end of the day, it's still. I mean, linebacker wise, yeah, I like it. But like Owe, I know Adafa Owe, I like them a lot. Ojabo go blue. Obviously Roquan Smith. So like I think linebacker wise, great. But then like secondary, I don't know. I don't know. Let me look up their overall defense last year. But honestly, the excuses now, like, because think about it, what do we keep bringing up with Lamar Jackson, where we're trying to sell him, like, why is he good?
Doesn't have an offense.
But his claim to fame, 2019 unanimous MVP.
Oh right? Yeah, decorated.
Yeah, and the farther we get away from that, the more and more it's gonna start look like a blip. Like last night, so I go down rabbit holes, y'all, a lot. I'm a YouTube like crazy, right? Yesterday, I watched the top 10 flash in the pan MLB players. That was very fun to watch. Number 2 was Lincecum. I was waiting. I'm like, I bet you Lincecum gonna be here, because sometimes you come out and you just a dog, right? And then the injuries come and the wheels fall off, and I mean, look, RG3, right? Rookie of the year, we're like, oh shit, we got something, and the wheels fell off. So I don't want that to be the same thing for Lamar Jackson, because I have so much love for the dude, right? So on the offensive side, I think they should be fine now. Defensively, it says they ranked 8th last year in overall defense. Okay, I mean, I hope. I mean, are they going to be able to kind of sustain that? I don't know. I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel like they lost a lot of games last year, and it had nothing to do with their offense. Like a lot of defensive miscues and that kind of stuff. So I still think they're going to be fine. But this is like we talk about quarterbacks who are under pressure. I don't want to say Lamar is under pressure, but now that you got the money, the whole the spectrum is bigger, right? You watched Hard Knocks last night, right? And your owner was on the side talking to Salah, and they were like, "Man, Q, what did they call Quentin Williams? Q pop or some shit like that?
Q ball.
They were like, oh man, we go as he goes, and your owner was like, yeah, it's a lot of money. Like when he said that's a lot of money, I was like, oh shit, they really be counting in their pockets for real. So now the owner is going to be paying a hell of attention to him. The coach is going to be paying attention to him. And then you guys as fans are going to make sure that he's earning his money. Like Tobias Harris, when we gave him $38 million, God, I said when the 76ers gave Tobias Harris 30 whatever $million, my eyes were on him. And I realized he ain't worth the money. And Jimmy Butler should have got the money. So yeah, Lamar Jackson's got to take that Quentin Williams approach and really prove that he's worth this money that they're paying him, because we're gonna see. But let's move on to a different quarterback who's also got paid a lot of money. Deshaun Watson. He got the first fully guaranteed $230 million contract after he was, caught, doing some crazy shit. You know what I mean? And the Browns didn't look great last year. He didn't look great. Obviously, like we said earlier, he missed a lot of games. So a lot of rust got to be shaken off. He's got Amari Cooper. He got got Nick Chubb. He got some stuff going on over there. And like I say, if you watch Johnny Manziel's shit, Cleveland Browns were dealing with having not been able to draft the quarterback. You go over there and it's still like that, right? So with Deshaun Watson being in the system a little bit longer, obviously this thing is still kind of a dark cloud over him. Michael Vick kind of went through it a little bit with the with the dog situation. Ben Roethlisberger went through it for a similar situation, and the motorcycle shit. So Ray Lewis had a little dark cloud over his head with the murder investigation early in the 2000s. So it's not the first time we've seen a player be under a microscope, but the guys who I mentioned, they were all able to kind of prevail. So do you think that Deshaun Watson will be able to overcome this dark cloud, knowing that he has to do it in Cleveland? Do you think he's going to be able to overcome?
I mean, I hope so. I always look for the better in people, but he's kind of one of those guys that, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Or I got it backwards. Always get it back.
Fool me 65 times.
Yeah, either way, you can't get fooled again.
Hey, it's not a duck. If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's not a damn lion.
That's true. I think last year, he kind of got thrown to the wolves out of not playing football for it seemed like almost 2 years, and
with an additional 11 games on top of that.
Yeah, with one that he voluntarily decided to sit out too on top of that.
True. People forget that. That's very true.
Yeah. So I think Cleveland is Cleveland, but I think they have good pieces. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm so high on Nick Chubb every year. I don't get why people have him as like the 8th best running back every year. I'm like, do you know what this guy does? Like he literally carries the offense every year, and like is a great running back. Anybody would want him now.
You remember? Let me give you another one of my rabbit holes real quick, because last night. Another thing I was watching on the rabbit hole. The title was "How Good Was Barry Sanders?" Right? Living in Detroit the whole time that Barry Sanders was there, I knew he was good. I'm always telling people he's the greatest running back I've ever seen in my life. But to put it in perspective, when I actually watched it as an adult, the numbers he was putting up and everything on the team that he had, he does not get enough credit. And Nick Chubb is kind of on that. It's the same. Like he just be putting 1,000-yard seasons together every year. Like we don't talk about it. Barry Sanders had I think it was 9-10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And it was ridiculous. He was winning MVPs. He was all-pro every year. He was a Pro Bowler every year, but he played for Detroit. And unfortunately for Nick Chubb, he plays for the Detroit of Ohio. So.
Yeah. I think they've got pieces. Amari Cooper is a silent assassin. I don't care how everybody wants to dog this man.
He
looks like he hates. He looks like he hates the game of football.
Yeah,
he's out there, plays it, and he's good. He's good. So don't.
I like Alabama players, but he bores me.
I just think Dallas did him dirty. I think Dallas did him dirty, and he was upset. And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna show you why I'm still good." And he balled out. So more power to him. Myles Garrett is the most lovable person in the world, no matter how angry he gets.
Even if he takes his helmet off.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Mason Rudolph said the.
Oh, he definitely deserved it. He definitely deserved what was coming.
Yeah,
ain't no way you get that mad.
These anime guys, these Jamal Williams, these Myles Garrett,
exactly.
These Will McDonald's, they're lovable people.
Bro, exactly, bro.
For you to rub them the wrong way, oof.
If you get one of them mad, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and then the signing of Elijah Moore. Have fun with that, Browns.
So you know who I forgot who said it today. It said, Amari Cooper said it. Of course, Amari Cooper said earlier today. I think that me and Elijah Moore could be like Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible.
The same reason that I could not stand OBJ in the beginning is why I cannot stand Elijah Moore. We had all this hype on him, and he made some big plays. I mean, they're nowhere the same type of talent. I'm not alluding to that. But
Yeah,
what I'm saying is like we had the same highlight reels, all these big plays he was making, and then I saw a crybaby antic happen when you got hurt. You weren't showing up to practice on time.
them St. Thomas Aquinas boys, you know how they are.
So whatever, man. I don't care. But I think Cleveland, they look okay. It's just up to if Deshaun Watson is really the guy that's worth all that money, and if history, I hope history does not prove to what it usually is these quarterbacks they get just never pan out. I think Deshaun Watson will pan out, and I think
It's hard to overcome. It's hard to overcome the organization sometimes, no matter who you put in there.
But what makes quarterbacks successful if they're not like on the caliber of an Aaron Rodgers, or because let's not forget everything that Deshaun Watson had. Like he had tools. He's not a guy who makes players around him better, like Aaron Rodgers is, like Tom Brady is, like those guys.
And wait. What tools did he have in Houston? Will Fuller?
DeAndre Hopkins.
And after that, he led the league in touchdowns the year before he got suspended, and he did not have DeAndre Hopkins that year. He had Will Fuller, Kiki Cootie. Who the hell is Kiki Cootie?
That's true.
I forgot the other receiver. He does make I think he has that type of thing in him.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But the other thing that I was going to say really quick is an O-line, and we always look past because Joe Thomas is no longer there. But how good really Cleveland O-line really is. It's
good
pretty
is y'all O-line too. That should be concerning you, Mr. Jet. I'm just saying real quick. I have to say it in a very low voice, but be watchful of that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. It's training camp. I got faith in these boys. There's also the starters aren't playing. This is more towards the back end.
No, I see it in the practice. Your boy Aaron Rodgers getting touched. You getting touched.
But that wasn't the starters. That wasn't the starters.
Your boy Aaron Rodgers getting touched up, man. Just protect that man. Protect that man.
It's also Quinn Williams. That man's nasty. So
hey man, I watched Tom Brady go from 50 touchdowns to out the league quick. Hella quick.
All right, let's go back.
My bad. Sorry. Got carried away.
What's your partake on him? I personally just think like this, we get a full year of Deshaun Watson and he's got the tools. I think they can be competitive. That's what I truly think about them.
Damn, Jake Cave just hit another home run. We just doing work on Toronto. Anyway, see, the part that just it's like Deshaun Watson is one of those guys that I want to like, right?
Yeah.
After watching what he did in college against Alabama, that game specifically, he's getting his ass beat all game long, and he still bumping up the chin strap. Like remember Jay Cutler? And the one player in the NFL who I will never like is Jay Cutler because I seen him be on the sideline on his little bicycle during a NFC Championship game against your rival Green Bay Packers with the most annoying look on his face because he was I'm a little nicked up. Meanwhile, I see this dude Deshaun Watson get SEC bullied by the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he still's got the game with a touchdown to Hunter Renfrow. And that is like Vince Young versus USC, and then my boy against Alabama. Those are some of the more impressive moments I've seen. So I still kind of stick to that. Like, man, I really want to like this dude, right? And obviously, with everything that happened, it's kind of weird. Like, you don't want to admit that you like the guy. Now it's like me listening to R. Kelly music. I don't want people to know I still listen
It's like that Wander Franco.
Don't do it. We're not talking about Wander Franco today. We're not talking about Wander Franco today.
He's a pedophile, but he gets on base.
We're not talking about Wander Franco today. It's crazy. The Rays finally decide to pay a player, and the dude can't date someone his own age.
But he gets on base.
What is going on? But anyway, I don't want to admit that I still listen to Wonderful by Ja Rule, R. Kelly, and Ashanti. Or is it Ashanti? Whatever it is. Oh. All right. Anyway, back to Deshaun Watson. So I still think about both sides of it. Like, damn, I really do hope that maybe there was something to the story, but you can't tell me 65 women are lying. You know what I mean? It's just hard for me to believe that. it was probably more than that for all we know. But so yes, I still like the guy from a talent standpoint, right? And I want him to, I want him to do well. Especially being, I'll keep it 100, man. Any black quarterback, for the most part, I'll give you a few maybe I don't really care about, but for them like that Prescott, hey, whatever, man. I don't give a shit about you. But for the most part, the rest of them, I want to see them do successful because Jalen Hurts said it to Peter King a couple weeks ago when he interviewed. Oh, Jalen Hurts about to kill it this year. He told Peter King, yeah, man. I mean, he was like, I got 3 things or whatever. And I forgot what the other ones were, but like the other one was he's got to prove himself. Because he said for the longest time, the people doubted people like me. When he said that, I was like, oh my God. He was preaching. And Deshaun Watson, I want to put him in that category. Like they doubt people like you. So make them prove them wrong. The problem is, and it's they play in Cleveland, bro. It's like the Los Angeles Clippers. They went and get Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I mean, they got a roster, right? They got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, according to the dumbass people in the media. They have not sniffed a Larry O'Brien trophy. Sniffed. They can't even smell it. They got COVID, but they can't smell shit. So it's like, it doesn't matter. They draft Johnny Manziel. They draft Jimmy Clausen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like they don't have. There's something infrastructurally wrong with that team. Same thing. There's something infrastructurally wrong with the Clippers. Now the Clippers are addressing a lot of those things, but what's Cleveland addressed?
You know what Cleveland should do? Go hire Kevin Costner because he made everybody a Cleveland Browns fan for that day.
Hey, for one day, for one movie, for what was it, hour and 5-minute movie, everybody was a Cleveland fan, but that's not realistic.
And you know what the whole funny part about that was? He fleeced the Seattle Seahawks who won the Super Bowl that year.
Look at that. Look at that. So it's like, I just don't believe. I don't believe. Unfortunately, as much as they try, so it's like when something is deemed to go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. You know how Stephen A. always says that about the Cowboys? When it's all good, you know it's gonna go bad. No matter what Cleveland tries, and when it's all good, like they became public enemy number 1 because they not only did they sign Deshaun Watson, they gave him buku money while he was still dealing with the case. Bruh, it's like, okay, bro, come on now. So they're gonna get every team's best, like they just won a Super Bowl. Because like everybody wants to make sure they
when that happened. All I can think about when that happened is that the meme of what's his face, the comedian Charlie Day, with all the different like scenarios of how we're gonna talk about this to the media. Why we signed up for all this money. Mm-hmm. That guy could not sleep for a week, I'm sure, when he had to like
explain this. How can you explain this? But they still asking him about it. Till this day, like, do you think this is just gonna go away? It doesn't go away. Like Michael Vick is just starting to become kind of liked again. Like I forgave him. You know what I mean? Like he served his time. Anybody who served their time, and I know he wasn't like fully hands-on involved with a lot of the crazy shit that was happening. He just allowed it to happen and, funded it to happen. But Deshaun, on the other hand, was directly involved with what was going on. So it's like it's a little different. So he's going to be dealing with this for a while. And to have to deal with that in Cleveland, so you think about it. You lose a game. You have to drive in the snow to go home. And it's ugly outside, dirty-ass snow. And you get a question about your rape allegations from 2 years. Like, it's hard for a man to have to deal with that. So unfortunately, I don't believe it. I don't see it. They'll be 9-8, 10-7, losing the wild card round, maybe something like that. I don't think they have. That's me being nice, by the way. I don't think they're going to be 9. I think they might be 8-9, but we'll see. Deshaun Watson has enough talent for me to think that they're going to be able to do something, right? Nick Chubb, Mark Cooper, Bruce and Holt. Like something is kind of there, but
it just doesn't. That's what
it don't smell right. You know how I am about smell. Like Arizona, I see it. I won't watch it. Every time I finish a Hard Knock episode, that's the next thing that comes up on my watch this list. I'm like, nope, I ain't watching this dysfunction. I'm not watching this. But
All right,
yeah. What about
let's go
what?
to
Huh?
Cincinnati. Let's
Yeah, I
talk
was about to
about
say, what about Joe Burrow? Obviously, last year he had the appendicitis, or no, he had mono, right? Whatever. He had mono. Did he have mono?
he had
Am
mono.
I tripping? No. Who had mono? Was it him or was it Zach Wilson?
It was Zach Wilson.
Zach
Zach Wilson.
Wilson.
Mono,
So
yeah.
he had appendicitis.
No, it was Sam Darnold had mono. Sam Darnold
Sam
had mono.
Darnold. I knew it was a Jet. I knew it was a franchise that been a little off. Browns of the Jets. I was like,
It's mono.
but he had appendicitis. He came back and did well. He's had a torn ACL, came back and made the Super Bowl. Like, he does do a good job overcoming the things that happen to him.
Yes.
But at the same time, they still haven't protected. Now they finally look like they've addressed the offensive line, so maybe he can be protected. But that day that he popped his Achilles, he was already wearing a sleeve on that leg. So something tells me that something is probably like Kevin Durant has not been the same since 2019 Golden State. Since they rushed him back, he's not been the same. Like, the dude slips on the floor during warm-ups for basketball, and his ankle's done for a month. So I feel like everything is like, all that shit is connected. So I want to assume that Joe Burrow is going to be fine. But what do you think? What do you think about the championship window for the Bengals right now? Because Joe's due. Justin Herbert got paid. Joe's due for a contract. I've heard already rumors that T. Higgins is going to probably get traded because they can't afford him. They got Jamar Chase. They got Boyd. They got they got Mixon that they gave a little bit of money to. Obviously, they have the quarterback. So, where are you with their championship window?
I think the championship window for the Bengals is kind of like when Ocho Cinco was there. You know how like we were always high on how the Bengals were so good that
I used to love that team.
Oh, I loved it too. I love the quarterback. I love Carson Palmer. I love TJ Husman.
Chad's my favorite football player.
Chad's my boy, man. I have such a great Chad Ochocinco. I love that man to death.
I wish I had his. Oh, you have that story. I wish I had his jersey, bro.
Yeah, I got to get one. They had a good team and they put together, and that's what's kind of giving me the same vibe with this team. Is I think what they've done, kind of like the Bengals did then, address the quarterback of the future for a very long time. And historically, the Bengals stick with the guy for a good. They draft well. They hit gold with Carson.
Who's your mama? Chad Johnson.
I'm talking about quarterbacks.
I was thinking, but think about the weapons that Carson Palmer had.
Yeah,
he had weapons.
I mean, even when
Joe Burrow's got weapons.
When Andy Dalton was there, he had AJ Green.
He was exactly. Green. They always have weapons.
Yeah,
but they just like Cleveland. I always feel like something is just.
Yeah, they never addressed the defense. They never addressed it. The reason I think the Bengals, my argument for the Bengals winning the Super Bowl this year, if they could win it, they got rid of Eli Apple. You got rid of Eli Apple. That was
put him with Tyreek Hill of all people.
Yeah,
of all people, he got to go get burnt by Tyreek Hill every practice.
but I think the window for the Bengals is close. Now the quarterback situation and the weapons situation, like they're going to take care of. We all know they're going to take care of Joe Burrow. They'd be dumb not to take care of Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. And I think Jamar Chase is when he's eligible, he's going to get his money too.
Of course. They drafted T. Higgins in the second round, although it was the first pick of the second round. They went top 6 on Jamar Chase. What was the top 5? Whatever it was. They went early with him. So yeah.
So, I think the window is starting to close. They went and got a great player in Orlando Brown to beef up that O-line. They went and got Irv Smith, who I thought was going to make a leap last year. He was doing it until he got hurt. I think he could make a leap this year. I think playing with a good quarterback and a young quarterback at that. I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan. Mm-hmm. I thought Kirk Cousins was doing right by him and turning him into a target on the team. But I think now playing with a younger quarterback and someone you have some kind of camaraderie with, you're gonna be pretty sustainable in that offense.
Real quick, T. Higgins is due to become a free agent next year. So
yeah,
contract year, fantasy option, maybe.
Yeah, but I think the thing that they just don't address ever is the defense. They just throw guys out there and hope that they play. I don't
The
remember
year they
who
made
they.
the Super Bowl, it looked a little better. It looked a
Yeah,
little better. Yeah.
it did. It did. But those guys were playing their hearts out. I get that in the Super Bowl as opposed
Mhm.
to laying down.
I mean, shit,
I
Eli
just,
Apple was even trying.
yeah, getting burnt. But I just think the window is closing for them slowly. I'm not taking anything away that they can't reopen that window again, because I
Mhm.
think if they address certain pieces, they'll be back in contention. Bringing back Joe Mixon's a big thing too,
They
because we
got
would have
some.
been
I'm
what's
looking
going
at the
on.
defense. They got some. I mean, they got Daxton Hill, go blue. I like that. They got
Is he done?
Awuzie. You know, sometimes he shows up. Cam Taylor Britt, a young guy, Sidney Jones. Like they got Mike Hilton. Like they got outside weapons. And then when we look at their like the DNs,
Of the D line, they got the one guy, the white boy.
Hubbard and Hendrickson, I know I
Yeah,
can trust them. I know every year they go and Miles Murphy now too. They got Miles Murphy now, so
well, yeah. Okay.
they're they've
But they're
addressed.
question marks. The guys that are rookies are question marks right now
Yeah,
because
they also have DJ Reader. They have Joseph Asai. I mean, they've BJ Hill still there. They've definitely addressed a lot from a
it's
defensive end.
okay. It doesn't scare me though. Like, the only person on that defense that really scares me is Hendrickson. That guy, single handedly watch him
Hubbard
get like
too. Hubbard be making like real timely plays.
he compliments him very well.
Yeah.
It's almost Bill Belichick liking where the two white guys up front just sacking
Right.
dudes.
I didn't want to be the one that said it, but
A white wide receiver just entered free agency. Bill Belichick.
he's on the phone with the agent yesterday. Oh man, Logan Wilson's their yeah,
How do you
yeah.
feel about him? Tell me what you feel about him, because I think the window, I think it's slowly closing,
What,
but
so how long do you think the window's gonna be open for? Just so I know. Let me hear that.
oh man, if they can find a way to bring back T Higgins, pay Joe Burrow, and then pay what's his face next year, Jamar Chase, I think it can still stay slightly cracked and be competitive.
The problem is that T. Higgins is too good for the money for the money they don't have to pay him.
I
So
agree.
I got to see what's up with that right now. As far let's just kind of just speak. I'll just say like from a 2023 standpoint, right? Because to me, again, T. Higgins is about to be a free agent, so 2023 is a very important year for them to see if they try to go all in. Well, we'll see what's up with that. But first of all, I think Joe Burrow strikes me as the type of guy that will take less money.
I agree.
And if that's what it takes to keep T. Higgins and they're able to pull that off, like Tom Brady was doing for years, if they're able to, because Cincinnati, look, man, the way guaranteed contracts work, y'all, whatever they guarantee you, they got to have that money in hand, ready to go to pay you that 136 million, 226. They got to got that shit in the bank account, ready to get that shit to you now. Because that's like an upfront check that you get or whatever. So however that shit, they don't give you the whole contract, the whole guarantee, but it has to be. I forgot what the word is, but it has to be. You have to prove that you're able to pay that. You know what I mean? Like if the world comes to an end and you got to pay the money tomorrow, they got to make sure that you have it. So, and Cincinnati has never been a team. No, they've been voted year after year for having the worst facilities, rats in the bathroom. They got an old ass stadium. So I don't even know what kind of money they got going on over there. So I think Joe Burrow, if he is like people like already want to compare him to Tom Brady off the rip. So if he is like Tom Brady, he does decide to take less money year in and year out, or do what the Patrick Mahomes route, do like a long ass deal that's worth so much amount of money, but it counts a lot less against you for the cap. Then they're always going to be in the money because as long as Joe Burrow is not tearing shit up and the offensive lineman fight, like think about it, Tom Brady, his whole career has always had a good offensive line, and the years that he did it showed. It showed vividly. And Joe Burrow, he's not unathletic, but he holds on to the football a lot longer than he should sometimes, and he gets sacked. And if he's going to continue to get sacked, that will close the window quickly. And they better not rush him back with his Achilles. But I understand why they would, because the AFC is competitive. There's like 10, 11 teams that can be in the playoffs right now. You know what I mean? So it's really, it's going to be a very weird situation how they decide to approach it. But I don't think the window is closed when you have the quarterback. Like, no matter what, Tom Brady had Randy Moss, he had Julian Edelman, he had Wes Welker, he had Chris Hogan, Tim Brown, whatever you want. He was going to Super Bowls because they have Tom Brady and the infrastructure was good. What Cincinnati needs to figure out is they need to get their infrastructure good. And then everything around Joe Burrow will always work out. Because as long as you have him, I fear nothing. Shannon Sharp was on a rant, not a rant, a sermon talking about LeBron James. He was like height 6'9", weight 250, born in Gloria James in Akron, Ohio. And he said, as long as I have him, I fear nothing. LeBron goes to Cleveland, they fear nothing. Miami, when you have that guy, Patrick Mahomes, they said they took Tyreek Hill away from him and he won the Super Bowl. Their offense got better. Like if you got that kind of thing about you,
they proved us. Remember when they were like 1-4, like one season, and they went to the Super Bowl that year? We were like, shit, we expect this out of him, but like you can't doubt the man. The man's amazing.
When you got that guy, so I do look at Joe. I mean, from that LSU year, ever since then, I was like, oh, he really hit. I know he had a lot of talent. Think about it. Mac Jones had a lot of talent in college. I know last week we talked about Mac Jones versus Daniel Jones. Mac Jones had a lot of college and a lot of talent on that championship team, right? And it's been a little bit hard for him to kind of translate that to the NFL because they haven't put talent around him still. Joe Burrow's had talent since he got to Cincinnati. So, like, they've made a point that you're going to have some weapons around you. Don't worry. We're going to give you a college teammate for crying out loud. We don't give a damn. So, I give him a lot of credit for making sure that he feels comfortable. So, the infrastructure seems like it might be getting a little bit better. So, to me, as long as they keep the infrastructure right and you got Joe Burrow, the window would never be closed. But we are talking about Cincinnati, like Ohio, Michigan, those professional sports teams. But the Pistons haven't been good in a while. The Cavaliers are kind of hot and cold. It's just how it is, bro.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, and then just real quick, obviously, how we feel about Mike Tomlin. And no matter what you think about him, he's always going to be successful. So stop doubting that man. But year two, right, with Kenny Pickett. I'm really loving that relationship that he has with George Pickens. I don't know what they smoke together or eat together, or I don't know where they play. They probably play Call of Duty together. Their relationship, you can just see it on the field. Even in the preseason, like, oh, these boys really like are together. And then Deontay Johnson is still a good receiver, and their defense is really good. So, in a very competitive AFC North and AFC in general, do you think Mike Tomlin has enough to compete with the big boys?
Oh yeah,
even with Kenny Pickett, because we talking about Joe Burrow, we're talking about Deshaun Watson.
I think it's year 2 for Pickett. I think he got his dose of the NFL. I'm glad they didn't throw him into the fire right away. They put Trubisky out there first and saw it wasn't working. They were like, "Hey, kid,
still in Pittsburgh? Where is he at?"
Yeah, he's a backup. He got like a 3-year deal.
Oh, dope.
But I think Kenny Pickett. I look at him. He's pretty mature. I want him to be mature. He looks like it, and he's from Pitt. It's like a homecoming for him. So
the transition is a lot less strenuous on the player.
Yeah, and I think the defense is just that much better than the offense that they can win games too. They don't have to rely on Kenny Pickett to be like a Joe Burrow or a Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson. Just hit your targets, make the right plays, make the right throws.
And just trust Mike Tomlin.
And I'm praying Najee Harris, makes a leap again, man. I said it last year. I thought he was going to make it. It was like subtle. He turned on at the end of the year, but I want to see what I saw at Alabama, man. Like, I've been high on this kid for so long, but also Steelers offense, their offensive line is not as good as it used to be. Mm-hmm. It used to be like a very great offensive line, and now it's pretty lackluster in my books.
You want to know a fun fact? So that division, the quarterbacks' ages are 25, 26, 27, and 26. So Kenny Pickett is literally only a year younger than the rest of those guys. So
But he
age,
has less
that's
experience.
but maturity wise, you know how like you come in the league nowadays in the NBA as a one and done. You're not as mature as those guys back in the day coming in after 4 years. Same thing with college. Like a lot of these, like Stetson Bennett has looked pretty
I was about
decent.
to say
He's looked pretty decent in camp.
you could, yeah.
He's looked because he's old. Like so, he's already a little wise. Like Josh Allen, 27, Lamar, 20. Like these guys are not that much older than Kenny Pickett. So Kenny's able to not show up and be the youngest guy on the team and then have to lead a group of men. It's like I look at Bryce Young when watching the Carolina practice and stuff. Not only is he the youngest, he's the smallest. So it's like that's a bigger learning curve. Whereas you show up, you already big man on campus. So
Yeah.
you know.
And getting Patrick Peterson to be a good mentor for Minka
Mhm.
Fitzpatrick in and like the secondary defense is stand up. Like that's a guy that reeks of Mike Tomlin to me. I was like, damn, Patrick Peterson on that team like fits perfectly, I think.
Not to mention them drafting Porter.
Oh, and then grabbing a Steeler Legends kid,
which is to me that's beautiful. Like I love stories like that. So I'm always
I don't think it was a
for all
reach
that
either.
kind of
I'm
stuff.
like, I thought Porter, they were grading Porter as like the second or first, second, or third DB off the board.
I had him like I had him like third.
So I'm glad to see that, and he's not
Yeah.
with the Bears or something like that. So
are they making you? So you think they could compete, right? But
I
if
think
you
they
had to
can
put your
beat
money where your mouth was, would you say they can make the playoffs?
yeah, I
If
think
you
they
had
can.
to put money on it.
Yeah, I would. I you can't root against Mike Tomlin and what he does every year.
Exactly. It's hard to, but the
It is.
AFC is loaded, man. It's like
It is. But if we sit here because we're going to give who we think wins the division, I personally think it's going to be the Ravens this year because I'm expecting Lamar Jackson to go all out with everything and show us why he's worth this money and say, hey, look, I finally got my weapons. It can happen. But if you look at the teams, and yeah, we can carve it up how you want. A lot of those guys are going to win 9. I feel like a lot of those teams and those 4 teams will win at least 9 games.
Yeah,
it's going to be very competitive.
We already know Tomlin don't be losing seasons, so we already know that.
Exactly.
I think to kind of conclude this division, I think Cincinnati gonna win the division because Joe Burrow is already hurt. I feel like whenever he got some shit going on, he just I don't know what he be doing and what kind of Wheaties he eats, but he just kind of turns on another switch. And every year, we're talking about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Josh Allen and Josh Allen. And I'm like, what the hell has Josh Allen done? And Joe Burrow has to probably feel kind of slighted, like, yo, fuck, like y'all just put Jalen Hurts ahead of me in the top 100. He just had 1 year. I'm Joe Burrow, so I think Joe Burrow's gonna have. I think Joe Burrow's gonna have a year.
If I'm a betting man, I would say Cincinnati wins the division, but I'm just really high on Lamar Jackson to do well with it.
I'll actually say opposite. I'll put my money on the Ravens because I think they should, but I'll put my heart on Joe Burrow because I'm like Joe Burrow just has that thing about him. Like he's just
Joe Burrow's too new of a love for me right now. He's still too new for me. Like I don't think he's a flash in the pan. I think he's great.
He ain't a flash in the pan.
I know.
He really like that.
I think he's great, but it's just like I want one more year, and I want them to get you a deep. If they give you like if they would have got Roquan Smith, I'd been like Super Bowl right away. They're going to the Super Bowl right away.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously gonna be holes, and I'm not saying they're gonna go out and win the Super Bowl, but I think when we look at the end of the regular season, I think they're all going to be very close in record. I think maybe 12-5. They might be 12-5, and the Ravens might be 12-5, honestly. But they might have the tiebreak. I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel like this is a year that they just be like, yeah, and we won the division after all the bullshit y'all was talking about. We were my injury. So just my point of view on that. But let's move on to the NFC real quick. Just to run it down, A-Rod's favorite NFC team, Dan Campbell, the Lions. Are they going to be worth all the hype? Jordan Love and Justin Fields, who's got it better made because they're both in very important years in their lives right now from a football perspective. And then will the Vikings be able to overcome y'all stealing Dalvin Cook? How much did y'all pay him? What was the contract?
I don't think it was much. I think it was
like 6, right?
Yeah, I think it was 6.
So you know what pissed me off? As much as I don't mind that we had to lose Miles Sanders, when I looked at his contract today, it was 4 years, $25 million. It's $6.2 million a year. I'm like, bro, we couldn't afford that. We wouldn't. I don't know, but hey, more power to him. But I'm like, I don't think the Vikings were that or broke. They couldn't afford $6 million to Dalvin Cook. But hey, he's on a team that can go win a Super Bowl. But with the Vikings, on the Vikings aspect, are they going to regret that loss? So start with your team, Dan Campbell.
That's Chicago too. You forgot Chicago too.
No, I said Jordan Love and Justin Fields. They're both
Right.
on a very important times of their career. So
All right.
let's start with the Lions.
All right.
Obviously, you're a closet supporter. Like sometimes I am too.
I'm not a closet supporter. I'm just a Dan Campbell fan, man.
Listen,
I love that man.
I get it.
love what he brings to football.
Why do you think I'm an Alabama fan? I'm a Nick Saban fan.
I'm truly a fan. I really am, and I think they're addressing pieces finally. My only gripe with them was getting rid of Jamal Williams. That's my only gripe.
I know you was real pissed about that.
It made no sense.
We were talking about the nerds earlier.
Like, I understand DeAndre Swift. I get that one. Like, that kind of makes sense because Jamal Williams eclipsed him, and you drafted him second round, and he was
about to have to pay him. Hell no.
Yeah. So I get going younger, and getting David Montgomery. Like, it just, I love David. I'm a big David Montgomery fan too. I feel like
I'm not.
I am.
I'll take Jamal Williams in my sleep.
I would have taken David Montgomery. Just he was on such a shitty team that he had to like be the workhorse every time.
To get hurt again.
And
Jamal Williams stay healthy.
What's
your best availability?
Yeah, but Jamal Williams is also like a backup, and then he just kept saying
the reason why
when he was in Green Bay, he was a starter, and then they brought in what's the
Aaron
running back, Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones leapfrogged him. And he was like, okay with that. Just give him
about this though?
He's good.
How about this perspective, right? What's his name? Montgomery. The reason why Chicago was so cool, like because Khalil Herbert outperformed him every time he got the lead job, every single time. So Montgomery, they looked at Montgomery like,
I agree with you. Yeah. I agree, but like, you wore that guy his knees into the ground the first 2 years. You wore his knees into the ground the first 2. I remember him coming out of college. I was like, Iowa State, like, they breed weird players. Like,
you got some athletes that be showing up, and Iowa got some. They got like corn, and whatever they put in the corn is like steroids.
Iowa only breeds O-line. That's it, and tight ends
and a couple of athletes.
But Iowa State, there's freak athletes from that program at any position.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
But my only gripe with the Lions is the running back room. I think the receiver looks.
You don't like Jahmyr Gibbs?
Huh?
You like Jahmyr Gibbs?
I do.
I wanted in my head, if we couldn't get Bijan, I was like, I'll take Jahmyr Gibbs then. That's how I felt.
But I also feel like that was a reach to get him in the first round.
The reach, yes. But the talent is still there. Like when we pull back the curtain and we actually like look at the talent, it's like me drafting Justin Tucker in the 14th round of my fantasy draft. I know there's 2 more rounds, but I got the best kicker on my fantasy team.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. And everybody has a different necessity, and they probably knew they were going to move on from these 2 guys and go that route. But what I alluded to was like, there's a player of the heart and soul of your team. And I feel like Jamal Williams brought that to the Panthers. We always joke and say he's Dan Campbell's illegitimate son. He's just, I felt like that was it. But the team on paper, they've addressed defense. The defense looks a lot better. Aiden Hutchinson is a freak.
Go blue, bro. He about to kill it this year, y'all.
He's a freak.
Watt. Here he comes.
They're young and it looks good. We dog quarterback's name. What's his name? I'm drawing blanks with Goff, Jared Goff. But he played pretty well last year.
He was productive.
Well.
I think we just fell for that how quickly Sean McVay was so willing to go off of him. I think we just followed Boy Genius. Like, if Sean McVay don't want him, he must be trash. But he was never really trash. He was just not, he's not Tom Brady.
He wasn't mature enough, I don't think.
He's pretty good, though.
Yeah. He went to the Super Bowl.
He did go there. So
I just didn't think he was mature enough. Is the way I view it. I think going to Detroit will humble you immediately. You're like, damn, I'm in Detroit now.
I watched Barry Sanders last night. I was like, damn.
I see why you retired, my boy.
I feel like the receiving core got a little bit depleted. No more DJ Chark there.
And then my boy got suspended, Jameson.
Yeah, Jameson Williams.
6 weeks, suspended. Right?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just like Cleveland to me. It's like it's got all the tools to work, but something doesn't smell right there. It's Detroit. But I have more faith in Dan Campbell than I do Kevin Stefanski. So I love me some Dan Campbell, man.
Yeah. I mean,
and that man is emotional, and Salah and him are very similar in the aspect.
Bro, like, I already loved Salah before.
Yeah.
This shit's making me love Salah even more. Like,
I was sitting on my couch, man. That's a good man, man. That's a really good
But they're
man.
players, coaches. Like, they do push-ups with the team.
Yeah.
Even him and Dan Campbell will do push-ups even with the losing team.
Yeah, because they're meatheads.
Yeah. So I appreciate that from them.
But speaking of like Iowa, can you talk about the receiver room? They did draft Sam Laporta, the tight end out of Iowa, who is pretty solid.
That's what I said. Iowa breeds tight ends.
Yeah. But he is, he's going to be good. But then Amara St. Brown.
Yeah, I got nothing against that guy.
He's another level of amazing. But yeah, you're right.
Where did he go to school?
Huh?
Where did he go to school?
Where did he go to school? The Trojans. The Big Ten Trojans. Not the Pac-12, the Big Ten Trojans. But after that, Denzel Mims, you know about him. Trey
I like him. Actually, I forgot about that. I like him. He'll do well there.
Will he?
Yeah.
Are we sure? They got Marvin Jones back. They got Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond. None of these people.
He'll do well. He was just hampered by all the receivers we just kept bringing in. He kept getting hurt, unfortunately. But preseason, he shined. When they gave him time to shine, he shined. He's going to be okay. But he's going to have to understand that he's not a 2 anymore.
Yeah, because when Jameson get back in the locker room, they drafted him number 15, right? Like, remember, I was so pissed. They drafted him 14th, I think it was. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. So, yeah. But you're right. You're absolutely right, because the hype is real about them right now. Like, everybody's on that train, pushing the Lions, right? And I just like you said, man, I look at Cleveland and I look at Detroit. I'm like, from someone who's lived in Detroit, okay, they had one of the greatest receivers of all time, Calvin Johnson. They had the greatest running back of all time, Barry Sanders, and they have nothing to show for it. Like, how many playoff wins do they have since 1991? Like 2. So, and the stink it never just leaves the organization, no matter who you bring in. So, I do like what they did in the quarterback room, bringing in Teddy Bridgewater. He's a mature. We talk about Jared Goff needs a little bit, to mature a little bit better.
Mr. Glasgow, but still a good guy to have.
They're not bringing you in to go play 16 games. They're bringing you in to go play like those 2-3 games when Jared Goff gets hurt. And
it's like Marvin Jones too. Like, we remember what you used to do, but now you're a vocal point on this team.
But the other thing that I really like is that they drafted Hendon Hooker. Now, we're going to figure out what's up.
Forgot about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Another older quarterback, right? We already know what Jared Goff can bring you, and we already know Teddy Bridgewater can't stay healthy. But Hendon Hooker gets to learn from Jared Goff and Teddy Bridgewater while he's not required to be the guy. They didn't just draft this dude just to be there. I think Hendon Hooker has a job with this Lions in the next couple of years. So we're talking about windows, right? I don't think the window is open yet, but I think they're starting to put the infrastructure together to get that window open, like the Bucs did before they got Brady, like y'all did before y'all got Rodgers, like we did after remember that year was supposed to be the dynasty year when we had Vince Young. After that, we went 4-12. We tore
but you put the pieces.
We
together.
Tore the whole shit down. We drafted Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox, and we built around them. And they've been the long. Like, you're gonna have Quentin Williams for a long time. I gotta see who else. But you look like Aiden Hutchinson. He's the rock. On the other side, Penei Sewell, he's a rock. Like these are can't offensive line and defensive line. When you have like can't miss type of talent, they will be there long. They will be there forever. I mean,
Sewell just fell to them. Like that was
yeah.
ridiculous.
So
Thought Joe Burrow should have him, and he did, and I was like, damn.
Right? So there's definitely
good. It's a good pick for the Lions.
Exactly. And so there's definitely things in place. Their window is just not open yet. Now, as far as winning the division, we'll get to that at the end, but I just don't think the window's open for them to win the division yet, but we'll see. Jordan Love versus Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields, the latter part of last year, started looking like Ohio State Justin Fields again. And this is before DJ Moore walked through that door. And this is before, like the hype started to kind of build again because they had the number 1 pick, which means they were obviously awful. But ever since like this, the way they finished last year and they saw the Justin Fields that they drafted that early on, they started to see it. They said, now let's put something around him so he can feel comfortable to really just trust his offense. This is a year for him where it's like, all right, we're about to see who Justin Fields really is. On the flip side, Brett Favre retired, and Aaron Rodgers was able to take the baton and ran with it, right? So obviously we got hella years with Brett Favre, we got hella years with Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about a team that doesn't like to, build through free agency, like they build through the draft, like that's what they do. So they want to trust that Jordan Love is that guy. Looking at the two situations that they're both in, who do you think is set up better for success? And who do you think, I want to say, I don't know, player-wise or team-wise, you can decide how you want to do it, but who do you think has the better season between the two?
I'm gonna go with the Bears here. I really and I hope the Packers prove me wrong. If you look at what they did in free agency, there's not a single thing. They've lost more players than any team in the NFL.
That's not what they do.
No, I know. And now they're about to lose. Bakhtiari's about to come to the Jets, is what I'm reading. Like they're in talks to try to get in.
Yeah. Damn, Aaron Rodgers got pulled, bro. Tom Brady. Now we see it. Now I see it. Tom Brady was able to get Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, like anybody he wanted.
I think it has to do with like not having ownership. Like there's no ownership there, and there's no like legiancy or like loving your players and holding on to those guys. Like Aaron Jones is a great running back. Who's the one behind him? What's his name? The fat boy?
Dylan.
Yeah. He's good too. Like they're both really good running backs, and I feel like they're gonna have good years because they're gonna have to run the ball. Jordan Love is gonna have a learning curve. He's gonna have to get camaraderie with these new young receivers. He's young.
So the thing about the young receivers is that he practices with those young receivers. So I remember when he came into the game last year against us, the Eagles, Aaron Rodgers had to leave. Whatever, I forgot what happened, but he got into the game, and him and Christian Watson did not miss a beat. And I saw in the preseason game when he threw that pass to Dobbs, it looked beautiful. Like he was able to get it right where he wanted to go. So I think him and those receivers probably a lot closer than Aaron Rodgers was with them because they were all young together.
Yeah, I think so too. And that might be beneficial to him. But looking at on the opposite side, that defense, there's nothing there that really you lost to Darius Smith. You
got Jair Alexander. He's only the top 3 corner in the game.
That's the only person that I would give props to.
I think they're a little better.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I think that not addressing free agency and getting like pieces in there is foolish, but I also think it's like, hey, let's see what we have. And, if not, we do what we always do. We build in the draft, and that's how we do it. I like what the Bears have done this offseason. We've always complained that Justin Fields can't make a throw because Justin Fields has no targets. And they groom every guy every year. Mooney, Allen Robinson. They groom all these guys to be the guy, and then they're not it. So you go and get DJ Moore, who I shit on every year, but he's a fantasy stud when you look at it, and he's relevant. He's really relevant. He's an all-around good guy. I really don't like that Carolina got rid of him, but it's a business. I understand. It's a good guy to go get for your first solid year as being a throwing quarterback now. You're putting trust in Herbert. I like that. I always like Khalil Herbert. I thought he was good. I like him and DJ Montgomery as a tandem of 1-2, but I understand letting Montgomery go, getting cheaper. I get that. And
then they brought in Deontay Foreman from Carolina.
Journeyman, but he's got a name. He can do some things, but I think that's a good punch. Herbert to Foreman.
They stole Robert Tonyan from Green Bay.
Tonyan, yeah, that's.
They got Cole Kmet still.
Yeah, it's whatever. Cole Kmet, let me see the leap finally. I want to see that leap because he's huge. He's ridiculously big.
Another person they have that we don't talk about, they got Chase Claypool. And I know
he doesn't do anything.
Like Juju, yes, same thing. Just like Juju, the same thing. Mentality is probably not there, but talent is definitely there. So I mean, to think about it, to have Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore, and Chase Claypool as your 1, 2, 3, that's not a bad situation to be in.
No, it's young, and it's
it is young though, yeah.
It's young, and I like that. That's one thing that I preach is don't throw these quarterbacks in there with nothing and fluff up nobodies. Like
and Amara's brother too, St. Brown, Equanimous.
Yeah, he'll make one big play. And
he's a St. Brown. He's a St. Brown. It's in his blood somewhere.
Daddy was a bodybuilder, but I mean, you're a receiver at this point. I like what they done, but they also didn't really address defense either.
So that's what I have to say. Like, I'm trying to look at the linebacking core. It's like
if you had to give me more trust, I would give it to Justin Fields only because we've seen him make that leap.
Yeah.
And now you're giving him weapons. So it's kind of like the Lamar Jackson situation for me. Like, okay, you're supposed to be this great throwing quarterback too. We know you can run. We definitely saw that. Now let's see you make some plays to these receivers, and hopefully Cole, whatever his name is, makes the jump this year at tight end. But if not, you got Tonyan, who's serviceable. I like the better.
I see it 2 parts. I think Justin Fields individually has a better season, but the infrastructure that Green Bay always has, because it's not like they one thing I'll give their like Gutekunst and everything like that. He does draft these pretty well. Like maybe we get mad that he doesn't draft receivers in the first round.
Not Eric Stokes was definitely not the guy.
Though. He does a lot of things unconventionally, but for the most part, he does do pretty well as a drafter. The offensive line is always pretty good over there. So that's something that I'm always preaching about. As an Eagles fan, I know firsthand, you get an offensive line, you get a Super Bowl. You go to a Super Bowl. It's literally that simple. And I mean, I think they got Rashawn Gary. They got that one kid from Alabama from last year, or Georgia from last year, the linebacker, I forgot his name, Quay Walker. I liked him too. I think Green Bay is infrastructurally built properly, and we saw Christian Watson blow up at the end of last year too. I don't think that was just Aaron Rodgers. I think Christian Watson because I remember pre-draft that he was like sneakily a first round option, and that was a lot of mock drafts had him going in the top 25, top 30, and so he's obviously has the talent. I think that he's going to be able to take that next step. I think Romeo Doubs had a lot of shine last year too, until Christian Watson stole it. So I think Romeo Doubs is going to be able to kind of bring a little bit of something with him as well. You still have the safety blanket of Aaron Jones and Andre Dillon. Aaron Jones has been probably one of the more consistent running backs that the league has had from a consistency standpoint. I'm saying he's the best, but from a consistency standpoint, he's there day in and day out. They drafted Luke Musgrave as tight end. Obviously, it's not like the receiver room is great.
A lot of question marks.
From the receiver room that was already pretty question mark, they already took Alan Lazard from that too. So they took Devontae, they took Lazard, they took Randall Cobb, they took Kumaro. So they've taken enough from them. So
I'm expecting him to be a Jet sometime soon.
Right. So I am a little concerned that's why I think from statistic wise.
If we get Kumaro, we definitely win the Super Bowl.
That's I'm going to Vegas. when I'm going to Vegas, I'm
We'll go to
penciling it
Vegas. We'll go to Vegas. And
in. You want to see a happy Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, bring his boy Kumaro back. You
my
see
God,
how?
I'm gonna get up and see
Sorry to
what
get off topic, but you see the relationship he has with all his former teammates and like his older coaches. Like he's calling them fat and stuff. Like Aaron Rodgers, he really do be establishing relationships. That's why Nathaniel Hackett still has a job in the NFL because it's single-handedly Aaron Rodgers. But back to the point, I just think infrastructure-wise, Green Bay is a little bit more set up to me to be more successful. Not saying that they're going to go out and win a Super Bowl, but I think they can go win 8-9 games this year with Jordan Love. And then they start focusing on putting weapons around him next year. Whereas with Chicago, they have a lot of good pieces, but it still kind of doesn't fit all together yet. And for them to go from the number 1 overall pick to automatically that much better than Green Bay, I just don't see it. So I think Justin Fields individually has a better season. But if I had to pick a team that's going to finish a little bit better, I'm going to pick Green Bay. And then just to wrap it up, obviously, obviously the Vikings have been pretty consistent, not consistent, but pretty hot and cold as far as winning that division. But without Aaron Rodgers there, they should be the favorites, in my opinion, to win that division. Too. So I'm gonna give mine away right now. I'm picking the Vikings to win that division still. I think them drafting another your USC boy, Addison. I think that he's not the biggest guy in the world, but being the number 2 in Minnesota, we saw what Stephon Diggs did with Adam Thielen. We saw what Justin Jefferson did with Adam Thielen, and then what Justin Jefferson did with KJ Osborne. So the number 2 is going to eat. Number 2 and number 3, they're going to find a way to eat because Justin Jefferson is getting the best coverage. He's the best receiver in the league right
now. Tight end too, Hawkinson, man.
And they got TJ Hawkinson. And they got TJ Hawkinson. And they got TJ Hawkinson. So to me, Minnesota should win that division. Dalvin Cook, will it hurt? We'll see. I mean, Mattinson, whenever he gets called up, 225 yards, 165 yards. So I expect him to kind of just pick up where they left off. But I'm picking the Vikings to win that division. What you got?
I just went down a real quick rabbit hole on Jordan Kumaro. Apparently, him and Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa are cousins. He's they're cousins, and he is the great grandson of Chicago mob boss Tony Accardo. So he's got that in him. He's got
that dog in him for real. Yeah. That's why Aaron Rodgers needs him around for protection.
Kumaro earned the nickname Touchdown Jesus because of the long hair.
Hair.
So, and
that's funny.
He's currently a free agent. So let's see what Rodgers can do.
He on the couch waiting for the call.
If he goes, I'm telling you, I'm going
and again, you look at Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb. They're like the old uncles in the room. They just love each other. They just always smiling with each other. I'm like, damn, what do you and Randall Cobb got together? Like y'all are like the best of friends.
I like that. That's good. It's
great. It's great to have though. That's why I like AJ Brown being with us in Philly because he's definitely a friend of Jalen Hurts. But too,
I Dalvin Cook, I'm a little torn by it, but obviously he's on my team, so I'm not that torn.
Mm-hmm.
Best availability is availability. So best ability is availability, and he's always getting hurt at the wrong times, and they have to rely on somebody else. And O'Donnell doesn't really address the defense like he should, but he has the right pieces to be successful there. Although I keep hearing like so many of those defensive players' names being thrown out as potential cuts or trade targets or this and that every year.
If I was a Vikings fan, we held on to Danielle Hunter. That's what I would be like, all right. You know how like Quentin Williams, Danielle Hunter is one of them. So you don't want to just lose somebody like that. So I think it was I'm happy for them if I was a Vikings fan that they kept on.
But I always hear his name as a possible cut or a trade piece or something like that.
Not Danielle. They just paid him. They just paid him.
I know. I just always hear that, but I forgot that they paid him. So yeah, I get that. Eric Kendricks is like another one I always hear like he's a potential cut candidate. I'm like, dude, that guy's like all over the field for you. And then Harrison Smith is
still there.
White boys. I like white boys in the secondary.
There's a white corner in the league now, like cornerback.
Yeah, I know.
I think he plays for Cleveland or Cincinnati, something like that.
There was one that played for Kansas City, and he got burnt and he disappeared.
Well, there's another one that just got drafted. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching his tape.
I'll watch it too, man. But I like what the Vikings are doing. They've got the right piece. They've got a great O-line, and they've got great weapons at all pieces. The running back room, is a half a question mark to me, because we know when Alex is called, he's going to go out there and do what he needs to do.
The problem is, what if he gets hurt?
Yeah, exactly. What's behind
Then it's
that?
like, what the hell we got? We got Ngannou and a lot of nobodies.
Yeah, I think when cuts happen, teams will make the necessary needs to pick up other players, and I think that'll facilitate and finish up rosters. But if we had to pick a winner for this division, it's definitely the Vikings. They, as much as
So
they're
you're
deep,
rocking with Detroit?
no, I'm going to stick with the Vikings. There's something missing there still, and I want to see them take that leap. I just don't like Jamal Williams not being there. That's just personal for me. I feel like that was like you ripped the heart out of this team after what I had to watch on Hard Knocks and his emotional speeches and how funny he is and things like that.
He was a leader in that locker room for sure.
Yeah. He was a leader as a backup at that.
Yeah, as a backup too. But annoyingly enough and funny enough, how we drafted Jalen Rigger's bum ass, my bad, Jalen Rigger, over Justin Jefferson. Now he's in Minnesota and he's having a pretty decent camp, pretty decent preseason. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. They fleeced us twice.
I think that's on the player more than you. I think
I think there was way too much pressure on him in Philly, especially when you get drafted right before Justin Jefferson. He never had a chance in Philly. I think now he's able to kind of just relax. He might actually become something, something a little bit more than what they expect. So their receiver room, with Osborne and Addison and him as a 1-2-3 option and then you got to deal with Justin Jefferson. Oh yeah, and Hawkinson. Oh yeah, it's gonna be problems. And if you watch the quarterback show on Netflix, you can't hate Kirk Cousins. Man, he's a good man.
Yeah, man.
That's a good man right there.
That's a man that's like what's the Men's Warehouse? That's literally their spokesperson right there. You're gonna
that's Kmart.
Like that?
That's Kmart. It's a good man.
It's a very good man.
All right. We both got the Vikings, and then for the North, you go Ravens. I got Bengals, and this is rare for me to ever pick the Bengals over the Ravens. Every year we do this every year. I pick the Ravens, right?
I'm just going by what we speak every year, and like it's finally happened. So
this is the year the Ravens are going to win the division. Watch.
They have to now, otherwise it's a fucking joke on us, right?
Right, but I'm going Bengals though. Leave me alone. All right, real quick. Obviously we still want to stay tuned. Michael Oher, we got some shit to talk about there. But before we get to that, this is an opportunity. The reason why I started the show is saying that I'm becoming a free agent and possibly leaving the Philadelphia 76ers to a very small pocket of my life, so they don't cause the stress that they cause me anymore. James Harden was in China for Adidas camp, and on camera, I know I would not play. Daryl Morey is a liar. And I would not play for a team that he is on or whatever, right? And he not only did he say, he doubled down and said it again. And I watched him say it in 3 different camera angles at least 20 times each. And every time it kept stinging me deeper and deeper and deeper. Make matters worse, the guy who identifies with the process takes down processing from his Twitter handle. His Twitter bio or Instagram bio, whatever. And takes Philadelphia off his location. And we know these days we got to read into social media because, if a chick deletes all the pictures of her mans that they used to be together, now she deleted all the pictures. I'm about to go try to shoot my shot. When the dude takes down Philadelphia from his bio, if I'm Miami, I'm like, yo, what's up? What's popping, my dude? So right now, I look at that management and it's a mess. And I remember when Daryl Morey I did not want anything to do with Daryl Morey. I was like, he's gonna bring all that bullshit analytics. He's gonna bring all his Houston boys. And what did he do? He did exactly that. And even his boy James Harden, Daryl Morey every year be talking about James Harden like he's better than Michael Jordan. Every single year, he's like, oh, we got the best shooting guard ever. Since he always brings up all these next level statistics that I don't give a shit about, and he brings him over. James Harden takes less money in good faith, and I don't know what the hell's going on behind closed doors. It's a nightmare over there, and the dysfunction of Philly is continuing. Trust the process didn't work. The Colangelo years didn't work. Now this era is not working. We kept Tobias over Jimmy Butler. We Ben Simmons, we failed that project. Markelle Fultz, we failed. We have literally failed every single player that we have drafted.
Three centers, and
Jahlil Okafor, one of the Grant brothers. Bro, Nerlens Noel. Like, we have literally failed in every aspect of our entire being right now. And I look at Maxey, and that's my favorite player on the team, one of my favorite players in the NBA. If I'm his agent, I'm picking up the phone, just checking, like, yo, I don't know if I want my player to be here, because I don't want to ruin what he's got going for him. Like, he is ready to take that step, especially if James Harden is not there and he has to be in control of the ball a lot more. He's ready to take that step. The Philadelphia 76ers are not on the same page of wherever Tyrese Maxey is at. So I think James Harden, he kind of did a lot of these players in favor by calling out Daryl Morey, because now they all probably, players, they talk. Joel Embiid called him, like, yo, what you talking about? And Doc Rivers situation, it's just been one bad bullshit after another. So from my perspective, we talk about championship windows today. Now, the name of this episode is going to do something with championship. We're going to figure it out, because windows is being closed. But anyway, our championship window being closed, in my opinion. And I don't know what's going to happen with the situation. Obviously, it's a bad look for Morey. And then Harden, once again, is still doing James Harden things, right? So what has been your whole take on this whole situation as an outsider?
I mean, as an outsider, I agree with you on your window closing and management just not properly running the team. And it's what I preach to you all the time about the NBA. And honestly, I think it's just becoming a diva show is what I can't stand about the NBA. It's just a bunch of divas who are getting paid a lot of money to play the sport that they love. And there's some kind of stupid gripe, and they're going to bitch and complain about it.
Era. When Michael Jordan retired, a lot of people were like, I don't want to watch the NBA anymore, right? For me, when LeBron retires, I'm going to be struggling, because I'm going to be struggling.
James Harden this is going into year 14 for him. So he's been around the block. But these younger players are I just don't think they handle things well. I think they see a camera and they project whatever they want right there.
Teams don't got vets no more.
But also, shame on Daryl Morey for giving all this power to James Harden just for him to disappear in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Every single year.
Be the greatest shooting guard of all time, the second coming of Jordan, whatever you want to call him. But James Harden is not the same James Harden we got in Houston. That's not the same guy that we got. And these analytical approaches, it works for some teams, but it's the same thing when we play. You want to play that money ball game, it'll win you games. It ain't going to win you championships. And I just don't think James Harden is slowly becoming like public enemy number one for me on everything that he demands, wants, and
how he approaches it when he wants it.
Yes, exactly.
Let me get fat on purpose.
I respect him as his game, his player like he is, but he's a shell of himself. He's a shell of himself. Like Kyrie Irving will always be player number one that I hate the most. Like, I truly hate Kyrie. I don't care what he does.
I'm gonna make you forgive him soon.
I hope so.
You came around on OBJ. So.
No, I did, and I hope to come around on all of these people. Like, I want to like you'll never change my opinion of Kevin Durant. I respect his game, but he's a pure snake. There's no.
My next chapter, he got a little snake in him.
if Kevin Durant wants my appreciation, he'll go play for Detroit, and fucking bring them back up. Like,
that's what I said LeBron should have did. He said, like, let me come save y'all.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Durant ain't coming to save.
Or the Clippers.
Kevin Durant says, y'all need one more? I'm there.
I got you.
But James Harden.
Y'all got downs? Let me hop on that.
So James Harden, like, there's so many stories about him, and we're not in the media. We don't know. We can only go by what the media says and run with it. Like, yeah, he goes to strip clubs and does all that, and it's reported from like 3 or 4 people. These are credible sources. But like giving this man all this, it's like Paul George. If I hear Paul George's name one more time, I'm gonna lose my shit.
He's having a summer of his life. Everybody think
Yeah.
he's a GOAT now.
These kids and why they like him so much, I don't understand.
Video games. Listen, even playing with Paul George on 2K, he's a dog on 2K. I'm telling you. So
No, I know. I play with him on 2K.
That might have to be something there.
That just might be it. They just like
he's
play
a
with him.
dog on 2K, bro.
He's an athletic shooting guard, but like he hasn't accomplished anything. He's never sniffed a finals. He's never won an MVP. He's glorified all-star.
Literally, none of that.
I'm not even sure if he's ever been all NBA first team. I'm not sure if he's done that. He has to.
I don't know about first team because you would have to beat out LeBron James.
I would think he is once because he was an MVP candidate with Oklahoma City. Look it up. I'm curious.
That might have been second team still, but I got you.
Regardless, I don't think he's ever accomplished anything that you're like, damn. But anyways, we're off the topic. James Harden is just a big baby, in my opinion. And I think he's doing his best Kyrie Irving impression right now to tear down an organization that's trying to be contending, to try to rebuild.
He did it.
But yeah, like
he got me to be pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, and I've seen it all happen.
I feel for y'all, bro.
It's from watching.
2019 All NBA first team.
Exactly.
5 All NBA third teams and
go out first round. Just to go out first round by.
Damn, Damian Lillard did that to him.
Yeah, Damian Lillard is like, we don't talk about him enough. Like, and then when we do talk about him, we want to throw him.
He's an enemy now. He's the enemy, so we got to talk about him.
Like, I don't think he's approaching it in a baby antic. I think like accept the trade if it happens and don't piss and moan about it. And I think Dame will do that. But he's telling you, you asked me, this is where I want to go. And James Harden.
I got something to say real quick. Don't they consider Paul George as this amazing defensive player? He only has 4 All NBA defensive teams. LeBron got more. Kobe got way more. Like, what are you talking about?
Bro, who cares about Paul George, bro?
My bad.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like the comparison. What I was trying to say is like we give these players, Kawhi Leonard's, Paul George's, James Harden, all this power, and it's too much power. Yes, make them available to be talked to when we're doing free agency. Hey, who's a player you think you play well with? Let's try and pursue that guy in free agency. Hey, we need a small forward. Who do you think would be good for this team? Things like that. I mean, yes, leave it up to management to make the final decision, but take a poll from your players. Take a poll like you do in at work. They take polls from you all the time about stuff. But giving this man a jet and say you can go do whatever you want. You can go hang out with a little baby and then show up to a game tomorrow at 4:00 and you're getting in the gym at 3:30. Like,
do you know where you don't see that at? You don't see that in Milwaukee, and you don't see that in Denver. And who are our most recent champions? You know what I mean? Like, I think while these teams like Denver and Milwaukee start winning more and more championships, we're going to start seeing the old way of doing things come back because they're going to realize the only player in the history of the NBA who has been able to make this shit work is LeBron James, where he's able to actually do all the shit that he's been doing, right? Where he is the GM, the coach, the player. There's nobody else who's been able to do it. Kevin Durant did not do that. He went to a team that whooped his ass and just all he did was hoop. Like he likes to do, just hoop. Outside of that, and that's the second closest. Outside of that, Paul George has done shit. Kawhi has done shit.
Let's be honest. Does James Harden scare you anymore? Does James Harden scare you anymore?
No, God, no.
No, absolutely not.
He'll get hot one game and then drop 7 points the next game.
Yeah, exactly. He's turned more into a better passer. I'll give him that.
He's always been a good passer, but now because
he is now.
No. His passing game in Houston was really good. The problem was that he was scoring 35. Now he's only scoring 17, so it looks better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he led the league in assists, so that's a plus for him. He wasn't top 5 in assists when he was in Houston. Yes, he was distributing the ball. Oh, I don't want to bet. I might be wrong on that. I'm not big on stats. I'll tell you where they went to college. but
Oh, yeah, ain't done that one in a while.
I know, but I don't know. If you're like a, I don't know, if you're like a Giannis and this is going on with you, I could understand that. If you're like a Jason Tatum and you know Boston behind the scenes is pulling some weird strings and it's not rubbing you the right way, and I could see that. But James Harden, bro, you're about 3 years to be out of the NBA. Like, shut the hell up. Play. I hate saying this, you know, not shut up and dribble, but shut up, man. You just want a platform to piss off your fucking organization and destroy it. The fans don't like you. I know the fans don't like you. They want more from you, and you're not giving them your all. You're too worried about fashion and going to Italy and hanging out with little baby and going to the strip clubs and eating 19 cheeseburgers and showing up way overweight and be like, I bet I'll get skinny. And you do, but and your hair looks gross.
Anybody could put on a sauna jacket and sit in the sauna. And...
Yeah, your hair looks gross now, and you have no style. I'm sorry. I used to love James Harden so much.
2016, 2017, average 11.2 assists a game.
Okay, I stand corrected.
He's averaged over 10 assists a game 4 years in a row now. He's a good passer, bro.
I'll give it. Yeah, I know he is. I know he's a good passer, but I don't like his work ethics and off-court antics that relate to basketball. Like, I don't think the platform for you to go to China and do a showcase with Adidas is to call out your.
That's what that. You want to talk about time and place? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And I feel bad for you because this was or is still your team, and you're looking to go somewhere else. You know, the only thing that I can tell you is root for players you like if you're in that. Because when I was a Jets fan way back, when we couldn't figure this shit out for a while, I just rooted for players I like. I just watched.
I can't find the next my Iverson and my LeBron. I ain't got nobody. I thought it was gonna be Ja, and he keeps pissing me off. I was like, maybe Luka, but I'm like, he's just sometimes he just does
like Giannis. You like Giannis.
I like Giannis, but like, okay, we'll see. I'm done with the NBA because we got to get to this. I just want to wrap this shit up with blindsided. Now, I want to give my Players Tribune article that this my background right now has a lot of meaning right now. So if I would have wrote a Players Tribune when I watched that Michael Oher movie, right? With Sandra Bullock, who I love Sandra Bullock. She's one of I have a lot of Hollywood wives. She is one of my Hollywood wives. I loved her forever. So it's not her fault. It's not her fault. And she's starting to get dragged by the media because she played a part and won an Oscar for it. It's not her fault that the person that she played was a piece of shit. Leanne Tuhoy. Who the hell? So little backstory, if you've never watched the movie, that's crazy. Big dude, they live in Mississippi or something like that. His parents are this and that, and he's by himself.
Oh, they're from Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay. Can you give the fans the backstory, and I'm gonna pick it up from a certain spot. Give the fans the backstory. You tell that better.
So Michael Oher was supposedly homeless or just wasn't given opportunity by his family, drug infested community, boohoo, sad story, Black
the
American.
Normal what happens in Black neighborhoods when they're red line and red tape and
this family took him in and supposedly adopted him, and the big problem was that I think Tennessee wanted to recruit him. I think it was Tennessee. Where did he go to college? I don't know. Ole Miss. He went to Ole Miss?
Yes.
Then
Mississippi State. Hold up.
No. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Look it up.
So it was Ole Miss. So that family, they're like boosters for Ole Miss as it is.
I think they're boosters for Tennessee.
I think they're boosters for Ole Miss because they were able to get Michael Oher to go to Ole Miss because of their influence on getting that done. So they tricked him into thinking that he got adopted, where in reality he got that Britney Spears shit where he signed his conservatorship, however you say that word, over to them. So they made buku money off of this movie, off of this story, off of all his shit that he was doing. And meanwhile, all of it was a lie. It was all a hoax because they made. I mean, they got Lamborghinis and Bentleys and shit. They be going on ski trips and all this crazy shit. They look like this great American hope, and they came and they saved Michael Oher from the gangs, and it was, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And yes, they did look after him, and they got him into college, which is fantastic. But it was all tricky. It was all ulterior motives. It was all, I mean, even like Hugh Freeze was the coach of that high school team. Hugh Freeze. Look at him now. My dog out here making hella money doing head coaching in schools and all that shit. So the whole it's a messy situation that rubbed me the wrong way, because when I watched that movie first, the way they depicted Michael Oher, you would think he was, like
dumb as shit,
handicapped. No, not even just dumb. Like he had like a mental issue. Like he wasn't able to comprehend. They made him look so weak, and like I know he was a little shy, but they made him look like he was like a dope. And even Michael Oher, when the movie came out, he was like, I hate how they perceive me in that aspect, right? And so that happens. And when I watched that movie, everybody was crying. Oh, it's so great. Oh, Oscar. And I was like, I don't like this shit, bro. This shit made me feel
uncomfortable. I didn't like it either.
It made me feel so uncomfortable because something just always felt off. I'm like, this don't seem genuine to me at all.
I know Sandra Bullock's character was like pretty like badass.
Yeah, but she's a dog, of course.
Yeah, but that's, I guarantee you that's not how this lady was.
I will say she's badass. I will give her. I know she's badass because you know how like some Southern women, they just put on their cape and they just be running through shit. Like they just know what the hell. They don't give a damn what nobody says. She's got that spice about her. So obviously she was able to kind of get her foot in wherever. LSU's basketball coach, the one that just won the championship, the girl, I forgot her name, that came from Baylor. She got that kind of swag to her too. That little Southern, don't bother me. I'm about to, mess this whole thing up. So she got that going for her. But how much love does she really have for Michael Oher? How much love did this family, like, did they really love this kid like that? Or they were just kind of waiting on the paycheck start coming in, the movie deal. Like Michael Oher ain't get no money from that movie deal. He ain't got nothing from the movie deal. That movie made $300 million and won Oscars. Michael Oher ain't got nothing to show for it. And it's his story, his name, image, and likeness, his NIL deal. They probably took his NIL. They were giving money back to kids back then too. It was just the McDonald's bags. I bet you he was probably they probably tried to pay him under the table, but because they had the conservative shit, who was really getting that money? Britney Spears was not getting her own money. Britney Spears. We talking about Britney Spears. If she wasn't getting her money, you think Michael Oher was getting his money from his fake parents? Come on now. So the whole thing, man, really just rubbed me the wrong way. And after that report came out and kind of just confirmed how I was feeling about everything, though I feel it made me so sick that I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm sick over the whole thing. But I mean, what would you say? Like, what kind of conclusion would you draw from that, or what have you? How has it made you feel with everything?
I mean, there's two sides to every story too. If you want to play devil's advocate on things, so I mean, I know that the Tui family clapped back and said all of that was not true.
And real quick, there was Michael Oher has been accused of repeatedly attempting to shake down the couple for $15 million.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So does that change anything for you?
No, it doesn't. I look at it as like, white America going into trying to, fucking make a beautiful story of something and profiteer off of it, man. So
you ever watch like Fox News or whatever, and you know how like what's
not to, but I know it's all a joke.
Yeah, I know, but what's that running back name that ran for governor and
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker. But they was, we love you, Herschel, so much. They were all in love with him. The moment he didn't win governor, I have not heard his name since. They have not talked about him, showed him any kind of, like, they shut that door quick. And that's that feeling that I start to feel like, They just use you as a prop. They ain't
Yeah.
really like you like that.
I
Like Ben Carson.
here's what I really want to believe, that they wanted to do a good service by doing what they did. And then they saw how really good he is. And the husband, based on the movie, I haven't done my research on everything. Like, she did like interior fashion for homes and stuff like that. And he just owned franchises. He just owned franchises.
Now they got hella more franchises now because of that money they made.
Yeah, so they had like Taco Bell and Burger King franchises that they owned, and you're going to make money off of that. I get that. But now you see another thing. If that's the approach that you take, like, we can franchise this, we can get some money off of this. And I think the motives changed after that. And it's crazy we're hearing about this like what, 10, 15 years later? Like, why didn't this come out in the beginning?
That's the other part.
That's really hateful to me.
And then they also said that they couldn't legally adopt him because he was over 18. But wasn't he at the house since he was like 15 or some shit like that? Or am I tripping?
I don't know. I think they got him in high schools when they got him.
So he wasn't 18 when they got him. So I don't know what he signed at what age he signed it though. It was 2004. It was a 2004 conservatorship. So if he's 37 now, that's 19 years ago. Yeah. Oh shit. He was 18. I don't know. This is tricky.
Yeah, it looks really shitty if they tricked him into saying they can adopt him and he was just signing over his rights of, his image and things like that.
So what if Michael Oher is in the wrong then, and then I'm actually an idiot because like you said, there is two sides to every story, and from what I'm seeing here, they got a compelling case themselves too. So I don't know what the hell to believe.
It is, but like this is something that's gonna have to go to court. This is the way that I see it. Is like at the present, I'm siding with Michael Oher on this. Like, you're 18, you're supposedly from low class community. The best things aren't given to you, and this cookie cutter family pulls you in and is like, hey, we're going to adopt you, sign here so we can be your legal guardians and take you away from your mom and give you all the things that you need to be successful. You think he's going to read that and say, oh, no, these people are doing me a service and they're doing me nice, they bought me clothes, they gave me a house, they treat me well? Like, he's thinking that they're on his side, but in real life,
into his head.
It did.
Somebody got into his head, because now I'm reading. I don't know why I haven't read this article yet, and I'm kind of reading it on the side. I may, the media can spin it whatever they want to spin, so you can't really read everything with face value. So I could be being tricked on both sides, but after further review, I can't really, as much as I wanted to say about it, and I've already said what I felt. Maybe everything I said is inaccurate, and I'm willing to own up to that, because it just, from my perspective, unfortunately, I see it too many times where what I'm saying is not inaccurate. It's kind of how the shit is. So I just hope that it's not one of those situations, because it would really hurt me if it was just a money grab and nobody really had no love for each other. Because you want to believe in these good stories. You know what I mean? Like, people wanted to believe that Lance Armstrong was doing all that shit with one testicle. And then, the steroid shit came out. It's like, people want to believe these things, but the truth will hurt you sometimes. So I don't know what to believe there.
It's going to come down to what the court finds on all of this. And at the moment, I kind of side with the Michael Oher on it a little bit more, because I can see the dynamics of it.
Yeah, because he's the underdog.
He's the underdog, but it's at 18 years old. At 18 years old, let's talk about how dumb we were at 18 and what we were doing. If we were presented,
but did you were you living in crack houses at that age?
Oh, I wasn't.
So that's not something we can relate to.
I know, but if you can like look at it now and be like, okay, at 18, if I had, if you gave me $1 million at 18, I know I could.
Like every time I've said this a couple times now. If I was if I was Johnny Manziel's age if I got drafted at Johnny Manziel's age, if they had a camera on me 24/7, y'all would have seen some shit. Y'all would have, they would have taken my endorsement deals away. I was not in the best place at that time. So I get it. I definitely get it. It's not like it's easy.
I could talk about Johnny Manziel. That whole thing just. I never heard a public. I don't know. I never heard in that whole thing, to get off topic real quick, I never heard like an apology for Johnny Manziel for his actions or anything. He was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want.
He don't give a
I
flying.
know he don't,
Hell
man.
no.
But like, there's so many people that would love to be put in that situation that would take advantage of that, and for you to just be like, yeah, I was just partying, and then like,
You
I
know
wouldn't.
who's doing a good job with it? Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf hit rock bottom. He was in prison. Like Johnny Manziel, Ryan Leaf was in prison. Like he was breaking into people's houses and stealing their pills. Like he was all the way fucked up. And this is the guy that they thought was better than Peyton Manning. And now he's coming back and he speaks about his sobriety. He's going to camps and talking to court. Like he goes to the quarterback symposium now. Like, don't be like me. He got syndicasts on radio. Look at Michael Vick. He hit rock bottom too. And
Yeah, I just think
made
Johnny
society,
Manziel,
you know what I mean? Like,
the difference is Johnny Manziel hasn't learned. He just saw, a money grab for me to
Yeah.
do something on Netflix, and I'm gonna do it. And he still looks like a POS. Like he doesn't look like he looks like a shiesty motherfucker.
Of course he is, bro.
In this case, I never liked Johnny Manziel. I always thought he was over.
I loved him in college. I didn't care about any of that stuff. In college, I was like, bro, be a kid.
Oh, seriously. No. I mean, I'm with you on that. They beat Alabama. They were fucking
bro, that was
Mike Evans. Just going to Mike Evans, and I wanted Mike Evans.
Yeah,
but in this case, it everything doesn't smell right, and it's just like you're sitting on the couch on a Monday morning, and then all of a sudden you see Blindside was all fake,
bro.
And you're like, what?
You were talking about shocking news that just kind of just flashed on the screen. I was like, oh God, I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that it's like still too new. It still smells, there's still fire on it, and we need to put it out and kind of go dive deeper. And all I can see is just getting uglier from where we're at right now, to be honest with you.
Yep. All right. Well, real quick, let's wrap up the show. But before I wrap it up, I gotta ask you a question. What the hell is wrong with the New York Yankees?
Oh man.
What the hell is wrong with the New York Yankees?
Too many injuries. We have an injury bug like no one else has had this season. There's a lot of injuries on this team. The pitching is the biggest one. We don't have all of our starters there. We're rushing guys back into the starting rotation just for them.
Luis Severino, what the hell happened?
I'm getting to that. We're rushing guys into the starting rotation just for them to go back on the IR. And then Luis Severino, like he's in his head. You got to demote that guy to the bullpen and make him long relief.
Literally, like y'all are wasting time.
We're getting rid of
him out there expecting. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's according to Einstein.
He's right though.
and Giancarlo goes down, Josh Donaldson goes down, Aaron Judge goes down. That's a big one. Now Anthony Rizzo's down, Harrison Bader was down.
Can we consider Giancarlo a flash in the pan type of player?
I don't consider him a flash in the pan. I just don't think New York was the place for him. Yeah. I think that it was just a money grab at that point. And the biggest problem that we're having is the manager. The manager is the biggest part.
Yep.
I've been saying it for the longest. I just don't think Boone is right for the job. And trust me, it's a headache for me. I mean, there's still hope they can do it, but the window's closing for them big time.
And the Orioles, how I was talking about, I told somebody the other day, I'm like, you saw the Astros out of nowhere, you kind of just took over like the last few years of baseball. I think the Orioles got next. They sucked for so long, and now the infrastructure is there. That's just how I see it.
The infrastructure is there. Yes, it is. I will give you that. But if they can get if they would have got Justin Verlander, I would have said it's done. It's a wrap.
Listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but the longevity of how the Astros have been over the last decade, I mean, not decade, like 7-8 years, that I'm not saying they're going to go win hella World Series, but they're going to be just like how the Rays are right now. They're going to be like, you got to go through us too now. Like the Rays, you got to go through us too now. So that's just more layers for the Red Sox and Yankees to deal with.
I think the difference between all these teams and the Orioles and the AL East is they were patient. They were patient and they knew what they had, and they're testing out the right players, and it's working because they all played together in the minors. They're bringing them up one after the other. Like we're gonna get Jackson Holiday next year play shortstop for them. We're gonna get that, and it's going to work. And I believe in everything that they're doing. It all started with Adley Rutschman being brought up, and then Gunnar Henderson behind him, and all of that.
He put that battery inside that
and,
team.
And they saw what they had in Cedric Mullins, and they didn't want to give up on it. They want to be like, this kid's a flash in the pan. Like, he's a good player, he's a good leader, and I think they get the right pieces. Once they start figuring out the pitching side of things, because that's one thing that's been the Orioles' Achilles heel. They had Kevin Gossman, who was a 3 overall pick and didn't pan out there, and look at him now. He's with every team he's gone to. He's done very, very well for. So I think it is, and I want to say that they aren't, because I don't really hate the Orioles, because they've just been so bad for a while since they dismantled that really good team they used to have.
But you smell the threat, though.
No, I mean, it's also on the high of winning. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're winning and you're having fun at what you're doing, you're going to keep doing that. It's like what I say about the Rays. There's no pressure.
There's pressure now. They got Wander Franco and Shane McClanahan. I got Tommy John. Oh, the pressure is building right now.
There is definitely pressure, but I think just when you're having fun and playing top level sports, and you're gonna keep riding that high. I personally think, and I hope I'm wrong here, but I watch a lot of baseball. I think they're gonna get burnt out when it comes down to the playoffs, and they got to play somebody there like a Texas or a Houston or something. I think they'll get burnt out there. But we're
early on in this process with them. That's all I'm saying. Their window is now. Like,
I love everything they're doing. They're bringing up their prospects, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, you need another year there. Oh, you need another year there."
And they'll spend a little bit more money too than the Rays were willing to spend sometimes. So they got that going for them too. They got a beautiful beautiful ballpark, great weather. I mean, shit.
Just a lot of gunshots from around the corner.
Hey, you'll be all right. St. Pete ain't safe. The Bronx ain't safe.
The one thing that we aren't talking about, I should have put this at my interesting fact or whatever, is Shohei Ohtani could win a double triple crown.
We can't talk. No, I've seen some shit in my lifetime.
That would be the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
You want to know what got me into baseball? It's a steroid era, right? I was living in Detroit. I had the WGN network, and I watched Sammy Sosa, and then I watched Mark McGwire do some crazy shit. That was one of the best summers of my life. I was like, I love this shit. Fast forward, I saw Barry Bonds do some shit. I'm like, this motherfucker right here? Oh, God. I fell in love, right? I've seen some shit over and over and over. I ain't never seen no shit like this in any sport. I can't even... Michael Jordan was not doing this type of shit, dog. He is on another level of... It's crazy. Like, the United States of America, our professional sports are being ran by international players. Shohei Ohtani, Nikola Jokic, Lionel Messi's old ass, like, what's his name, Ovechkin, and all. We ain't got nobody. We got nobody no more.
We give him the tools, but it's the discipline. And
the world is caught up all over the place.
The way of the samurai, bro. The way of the samurai.
The world has caught up.
That man is so in tune. Like,
I don't want to talk about it, man. I'm like, I just look at him in awe. I just like, he just hit number 42 today. I was like, bro, this man right here.
I mean, he's not first place in home runs right now. That's
I think he's still tied with what's his name?
Olsen?
Olsen. I think they're both at 42.
Olsen just hit like 2 or 3 yesterday.
So Olsen's definitely in the lead then, because he passed. I remember when he passed him like 2 days ago or something like that.
I think Olsen's in the lead by like 1 or 2, but it's definitely there. Triple crown, double triple crown. That would be insane to win MVP and Cy Young. You know who's the last?
I just watched when I went on my rabbit hole. I watched that last night. It was Lincecum.
No, Justin Verlander.
Was it? You're
Verlander,
right.
MVP and Cy Young.
You're right. To the Tigers.
Yeah,
you're right. And before that, I think it was. Wait, did Obado Jimenez win MVP and Cy Young? Remember, he was a flash in the pan.
Aldo Jimenez? No, he won a Cy Young. He never won an MVP. He won a Cy Young.
Okay.
Yeah. But
and yes, Matt Olson is still in the lead for home runs. He has 43, though. Ohtani's 42. I don't know if Olsen hit any tonight though. So this is not counting today's stats. So Otani as of this morning was at 41 and Olsen was at 43. So Alonso playing high school 35.
Dude, it would be so amazing to see that. Like I got to see a triple crown with Miguel Cabrera. That was cool.
My kids would never believe me.
Can you believe this man got the MVP
like,
hitting and then got the MVP, got the Young for really pitching too. Like God,
lying ass, that shit ain't happening. It's like Will Chamberlain. Like when I look at the stats, I'm like, ain't no way he's 100 points and 50 rebounds. Get out of here. But it happened. It happened.
Be amazing.
I ain't never seen no shit like this. But wrap us up.
All right. So you can catch us on X, not Twitter anymore, at fair_pod. Fair_pod. Instagram, Facebook, just search and YouTube, search the Fairweather Podcast and we subscribe or listen to podcasts. You can catch the audio there as well. Words of wisdom, take us away.
Blatko Andvoski is gone. U.S. women's soccer, we can breathe again because that man can't coach for shit. So sometimes the moral of the story is, like my next chapter says behind me in the Players Tribune, you just might need to change the scenery and everything will turn around. So
look at Aaron Rodgers.
He's not carrying Rodgers no more. Aaron Rodgers is back. Peace.